and now the Freya gets banned, which is amazing. I don't know why Freya gets through all the time.
Yeah.
It shouldn't. It should not.
Those last games, that last series, Freya should not have been allowed in the Land of Dawn.
She got through game 1, won't be through here in game 2. Excuse me, series 2, game 1. And what we had seen was kind of this assassin, hold our cards to our chest, make sure to see if we can outbluff you. We're going to ban Fanny, we're going to ban Ling, we're going to ban Hirara. They switched that up because there was just too many assassins to go into that pool on the side of YG and not enough for Pro. But here we could see a Hirara banned out.
I think at this point you might have to leave it open and go for the trade. Maybe come back with the...
Maybe ban the Eudora.
What do you want?
But I think Falcon wants the Eudora, right? So ban the Hirara.
I think it should be Eudora, because if you pick up the Ling, there's going to be so many counters. Or pick up the Zushin.
Eudora, one of the most played heroes on the side of Haji, and it's the Barretts. Wow, guys, that's the earliest we've seen Barretts.
I'll tell you one thing that has changed in the meta from groups to now. Some of these first picks, some of these pryos early on, the fact that Barretts just got picked up mean a lot's happened in scrims over the past 48 hours, for sure. A lot of things have changed, I feel.
Yeah, I feel like you need the, I would say, toughest guy in the EXP, just so that the enemy jungler cannot get an easy kill onto you, as well as you're just able to have that pressure inside of the jungle of your opponent. So this is very interesting. The Barretts get picked up, and I feel like this can have some hesitation when it comes to what Falcons want, because I think eventually they do want the Uranus, but right now do they actually want the Ling Eudora combo, because both are already not looking that great against the Barretts.
The Barretts was not used on the side of Vitality. This is the first time they're playing it this series. The Barretts was used for Falcons once and it lost. So maybe not a priority, or maybe reading too much into the value of the Barretts after seeing the first series today. But either way, it's a response with a Selena and a Belleric, Trex.
I mean, I think it's a solid pick on the Barretts. The Selena also has been a monster. You have the range. You have a mage that isn't too close up, has some distance, can also get you vision around the map. And the Belleric, I mean, it's the Belleric. He's just been a dominant roamer on the map. On the side of Vitality, I think this could be your opportunity to maybe pick up the Ling, go for the Assassin here. And if Falcon is forced onto a fighter or utility, the Barretts is going to quite literally eat that up. I mean, it's going to quite literally be such a nuisance in these huge neutral objectives.
Oh, the Melissa gets picked up early, as well as the Minotaur. I gotta say, the Minotaur has been raising in value, because in terms of the win rate, it's insane. For Selena, over 71% win rate.
Wow.
And right now for Vitality, like, we even saw the interview with Eterna. I think she planted the seed of this Melissa, where both teams are now constantly thinking about this Melissa, and Vitality is like, if we don't pick it up right now, 100% is going to get banned. And both teams are showing hesitation, because the draft that we're seeing right now is actually very difficult for a Ling to perform.
Yeah, and it kind of dissuades just fighters and in general, people who want to get up close. So you have to think outside the box, because what if Melissa's ult comes out? What do we do then in an objective fight? We're gonna be struggling. So how do you deal with that? And the Clint is picked up. And one of the ways to deal with somebody is just to burst them down so fast they don't have time to use their abilities.
It's definitely a new answer. It does have the range, the Clint. But with the Clint, you need a bulky front line. You need something that can really protect him. He does have the ability to escape with his second skill, but it's nothing crazy, right? It's not a huge dash. It's a quick little stiff arm. We need to see a lot around.
My current worry right now is Falcons PH. Their mid game isn't actually going to be looking that great, especially because in the interview they said that's what they wanted to work on. The reason why I say it's not going to be that great, because after about 5 minutes, the Minotaur will have the Flash of the Oasis, making it so that any burst damage that you do, the heal is going to come up and then a shield. So the mid game isn't going to be super great coming in from Falcons unless they have whatever jungler that they're going to pick up later on has a lot of damage in the mid game.
Well, neither team has gone for a jungler yet, which is interesting, because normally those picks are locked in fast. There could always be the slight flex from Vitality of this Barretts on a jungle. Don't think we're going to see it. We've seen it once. I think, did Aurora do it? Who picked up the Barretts jungle?
That's a great question.
Somebody picked up Barretts jungle in groups. We do see the Rafaela ban. That would be deadly if Vitality picked it up. Way too much heal.
And the Harley. As the crowd settles down just a little bit, guys. You went for a long time. Good on you, super fans.
I feel like for now, Vitality, I think it really depends on what their EXP is gonna pick up, because I think a good EXP for them should be something like a Yuzong. The only problem is, wait, no. I don't think this Barats is gonna go
jungle. Yeah,
I think the Barats is gonna go EXP. So the real question is, what is gonna be the jungle pick here? Because it looks like they might build a draft around Yi Sun-shin. I just don't know if that's the right idea.
Well,
especially if Falcons later on picks up something like a Yuzong, a Lapu, or a Bennett, the Yi Sun-shin might have a tough time.
It's definitely tough to... There goes the Nolan ban. I was thinking Nolan could possibly work for them. Since they're on blue side and they have to show their whole hand, a YSS pick right there where Falcon still has the opportunity to counter with their 5th red pick could definitely be dangerous. Could be possible, though. I mean, the reality is they have the Melissa, who works great inside of that type of strategy. A YSS would also work great inside that type of strategy. They would need some nice magic damage, though, and that's where my mind is at. What do they pick here in the mid lane?
Honestly, with the range, I wouldn't mind seeing something like an Eve, but the Eudora is still there.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like any of the picks here makes the Eudora not viable. You know, like the Selena, sure, it's gonna have some, I would say, some poking power against the Eudora, and now the Lapu gets picked up. I don't know, I feel like either Eve or Eudora should be well. I feel like using something like the Kimi might be too risky.
Well, the Lapu picked up. It was picked up last series and it lost, but maybe Falcons have something up their sleeve here. And you've seen the Nolan, the Harara, they've gone deep into the jungle bans.
Yeah, the Lapu's definitely been having some trouble. I mean, overall, just hasn't been able to keep up with the bulky EXP laners that are out there, and you have this Barats already. We are going to see this final pick in the Valentina. Clean, easy. You get even more crowd control if you steal that Wrath of the Dryad. You pair that up with an Owen's Fury. Vitality definitely just has... Ooh. So it is a Barats
a double
jungle.
Fighter.
Unless it's a Paquito jungle.
Or Paquito jungle.
Or Paquito jungle.
I kind of feel like maybe better for the Paquito to go to jungle, because I feel like, honestly, both win the lane against Lapu. It's just that I think Paquito has more burst damage to secure the Turtle/Lord.
And we saw that on last day of groups. We saw the Paquito jungle come in as well.
So I feel like if you want to balance it out, maybe a CEO, because I think the Ling is going to be pretty difficult for this one, right? If it's not the CEO, if they want to go utility, then maybe the Akai. But
they have played Akai. They have played Akai before. It's a win and a loss, but they played it on Rome.
But because that's a Valentina, I think there would be a bit of a hesitation there.
The Ling has been successful. They've played it once, they've won once. But going into this lineup, you feel the hesitation, and it gets us a unique hero, baby.
This. Okay,
what are we feeling?
So let's talk about this. The Joy has enough iframes to actually go away of Melissa and possibly one-shot her. Everyone else, there's a lot of peel here. The Paquito can peel, the Minotaur can peel, the Valen can peel. This is a pretty, I would say, pretty dangerous choice, but I can see it working-ish.
I mean, I think you look at this left side, Trex, these are all top-performing heroes in this meta. Those are a few, but not all of them.
I will say this, teams have been blessed by getting unique. Teams have made things happen by trying new heroes. The Joy was once a monster, and it does well against a Suyo. It can do well against enemy fighter jungles, so maybe it is the answer to the Paquito jungle.
Well, will it be the answer? The new rivalry in the jungle and the old rivalry with Indonesia and the Philippines. 152 games between them. 90 have gone the way of the Philippines. Let's see if they can make it 91.
Thank you so much. We're jumping into our very first series. Me and Brig are here to catch it all. We got Vitality on the blue side facing up against the Falcons on the red. And immediately, we already see the openers from both sides. The draft has been particularly interesting. This is the first time we are seeing Joy here and now in this game.
It's a Paquito versus a Joy in the jungle. Never really expecting a new rivalry to come out again now that we're in the knockouts. But hey, it's MSC. It's always been surprises everywhere. But at least for Vitality, they've gotten one of their very good comfort picks, which is the Melissa on Eman again.
And that's the thing, right? Lafel was mentioning just now that Joy does have enough iframes to actually not only close the distance but actually deal some damage despite the go away from me. So at this stage, we're trying to see whether or not Falcons, they built a lineup where, hey, as much as we want Super Marco to win the lane, there are other aspects of the game that we cannot let drop or slip.
Yeah, because especially when it comes to the objectives, right? I mean, you already were thinking twice about the Akai pickup because of the presence of a Valentina, yes, but also the Barats. So what are the guarantees that whoever jungler you pick up would not face the exact same struggles going up against the Barats, Pakiro, and a Valentina? Oh, not to mention the Minotaur even. So like objective picks seem to be a bit of an advantage for Vitality, at least in the early to mid stages of the game.
I would imagine that Falcons would just have to look to play for picks, right? And initially I was thinking maybe Hayabusa along the sides of the Joy as well, but I think Joy just a little bit more concentrated on the targets they want to go for rather than you just leaving it up to chance with the Hayabusa. This time around, Shogun is still going to be a pretty big problem. Not only is he winning in the lane, but more importantly, the neutrals is going to be hard. Oh, this is dangerous for him. Iman's side.
Oh, whoa. Could have the Clint been an answer to the Melissa all along? Flap going in with the bravest fighter, zoning out the members of Vitality. Kyle secures the objective, a flicker from Finn, but Flap still picks up first blood. The tone as well, coming in from Shogun. Doesn't land the stun onto anyone, and now he's looking like the next target. The taunt catches up, and now Falcons are trying to chase him down. Moreno still goes in. He will try to find the trade. Nile picks it up, but Falcons, they're not gonna fight.
No, they can't go for any more than this. Not enough cooldowns on Nile to actually chain it together. So far, so good. It's one-to-one trade-off so far, and man, let's look at this replay one more time, because again, this matchup down by the bot lane really depends on the positioning of Iman. If he runs out of that traditional front-to-back, he will lose, but keep in mind that even for Lapu, there was no need for him to flicker into that, right? He's so deep in the sauce, can't seem to get out afterwards unless he was looking to try and maybe get the bravest fighter off of cooldown as soon as he's done, and even then, it's too early to say.
I guess it really just was down to Falcons wanting to secure the snowball. It was kind of brought up in the panel earlier on too that the mid-game might seem a bit of a struggle for them considering the lineup that they've built. We're looking at another replay here.
Just the casual purple steal in front of Niall's face, you know? Just the good old from Kyle as they're looking for another kill here as Ogren able to snatch one.
No way, the damage from Super Marco is insane! Finn goes down next and Kyle catches up onto Moreno. There goes Iman trying to save his teammate. And he successfully does! But the abyssal arrow from Haji doesn't let him get away, Iman! There are 4 members of Falcons here down bot, doesn't have to go away anymore! And Kyle will just pick up the kill!
This is snowballed into a pretty huge lead for the Falcons side. One bad fight taken, resulting in a dive on bot side. Everything that they wanted to get and more has been taken. Well, that and Super Marco not getting the kill. He's got 4 assists in his back. He even flickered for it. So, you know, Haji, yo, KDA machine, calm down. I need the money, sir. Please.
Yeah, I imagine this is exactly what Falcons wanted. And they already have that 3K goal lead, which is really great. If the second turtle still goes over to their side, Vitality, what we were expecting for them in terms of objectives might not happen anymore. No! He just stole away that objective from Falcons! Now it's Flap all alone in the middle of 4 members. The Minoan Fury already casted, still catches on to Flap. Now picks up another kill. Kyle with the electrifying beats! But he gets stunned by the bravest fighter, Landshaker, copied by Moreno!
Yeah, what did I say? First person who flickers, generally, if we don't see a kill, you're going to get traded out. Both of these teams aren't missing any of the punches. They're trying to slip as many as they can. Let's look at the replay one more time, because in moments like this, you would have imagined, okay, the fight's already over. Finn flickers forward, but guess what? Moreno, he's still watching, and it actually extends the lead further. I think at that point, Kyle should have just decided we got to back off here, but that's the scary part in these types of drafts. Giving away a trade could lead into a bigger snowball, and that's why you see that both sides are so eager to trade 1-for-1 every single time.
Such a good steal, though. I'm still not over it. I don't think, and I couldn't really imagine that he was actually within Retribution range. But now just punch forward and actually got it away from Team Falcons. Now it's Vitality. That 2 or almost 3K Goldie we saw earlier is now cut to half. So I think we're sort of even all over again across the map. But hey, Shogun!
Whoa!
Actually decides to go for Ogwen. Is that the choice that they actually want? The random Triad copied as well, so they get to take at least the 1-for-1. Kyle catches up though, now not looking in a great position. Does he get to sustain his way out of it? It's a no! Falcons Falcons chased him down.
Yeah, once again, pretty difficult choice there. I think Niall even recognized that if he tried to go back into the get away from me boundary of Iman, it might have led into him getting killed as well. So this was probably the best option, but the arrow hits once more. And Haji, making sure that he is the KDA machine, continues to follow as programmed.
That's a crazy combo. Okay, maybe that's where the burst is gonna come from after all. You know, it's the Selena and the Clint, who had a very decent lane. He did mention it was 004 earlier, now it's 007. So I think there's been very decent kill participation over to Super Marco's side. But he is a threat that has yet to be shut down by Vitality. He's so well farmed on this Clint, currently 2 levels ahead of Eman.
Let's also not forget about Kyle, who's actually making a lot of these motions happen in the first place. Like Ogwin, it's pretty straightforward. He's just got to chain that CC, but who gets that initiation? Who is able to kind of get all the spells out of their opponents? And I think Kyle has done a phenomenal job as of yet. Now, coming back over to Niall, right? Sky Piercer as second item, pretty dangerous. He's 4-2-0, which is already great, but how many fights will he find despite the 3.2k lead that Falcons have developed, right? And the majority of that lead actually is on Super Marco.
Yeah, because I think that fight earlier was started by Vitality, but it was Falcons actually winning it out off of that decision to try and burst down Ogwin, which I think they failed to actually achieve. Another Abyssal Arrow, gotta dodge that. And Finn seems to be having a much harder time right now dealing with the damage and tanking the front lines for Team Vitality at this point. There's also so much range, honestly, over on Falcon's side, which I think is going to be a problem if Vitality just really want to deal with the more front-to-back approach of landing these team fights.
Only naturally. I think that Vitality, it's Iman, right? He is going to be the key to make this game open wide.
Oh, Gogo? It's haunted just a bit. Not gonna really be the target for Falcons just now, though. They just stole away that orange buff, and that's all that they wanted.
Yeah, no, this is actually a perfect coming in from Falcons, right? There's no need to try and impose your lead on your opponent, especially when it's within the 2.9 to 3k, right? It's very deceiving for most people. You would imagine that everybody is rich. No, it's not everybody is rich. It's Super Marco and Kyle who's kind of rich, and even then, it's really just Super Marco. So as long as Vitality take Marco out of the question, then maybe they have an opportunity, but Falcons isn't going to let it go for free. So now watch the motions on the map, right? Vitality start from their side of the orange, and they're going to do the sweeping motion towards the top side after they correct bottom, right? When you have control over one sector of your map, you got to make sure you set up those waves.
Yeah. Right now, at least, Falcons, though, will have a clear idea of where Vitality is coming from. It's a very difficult task to find Super Marco, but there are ways that Vitality can actually pick him off. But Falcons are already grouped up. There goes Flap, already trying to zone. Wrath of Pride already committed as well, but the electrifying beats are dealing too much. But you know what, Yuri, the Daytona's welcome. A 4-man knockup coming in from Vitality. Kyle finds Shogun, but that's gonna be an exchange of his life.
Oh, man. Oh, gets hit by the arrow as well. They're going to get one more for this. Finn in trouble.
Yep, has a heal.
Oh.
He will be saved, though. But Flap finds the kill still, and Super Marco, too, picking off Niall.
Man. This has got to be really frustrating for Vitality. A great engagement. They found everything that they were looking for. It's just unfortunate that Iman, he's not really the finisher here. It's supposed to be Niall, but he was the one taking so much damage. Look, Niall already with the empowered, with his empowered champion stance, he got the damage reduction and then realizes, I need to get back into the fight. But since he doesn't have Flicker, he can't close the distance as quickly as you would expect a Paquito EXP. So really, it's on Iman to get those big chunks in these fights and then look for Niall to actually try and clean it up, because nobody else on their side can do it other than maybe Moreno if he steals the bravest fighter.
Yeah, but honestly, the amount of disruption and formation breaking heroes that are present in the lineup of Team Falcons are just not making it easy for Eman to do his job, nor even place Muddles in a perfect position to at least force Falcons to be a bit more 50-50 about the team fights that they actually want to take, and now they're on the verge of just losing out on more and more structures. That's a conceal play by Ogwin here. Doesn't have the
Oh my god.
the arrow all over again!
Oh my god.
And the burst from Super Marco! Oh, that was just... It was just one hit away from going down, and that was Finn!
This is too much. This is too much for them to handle. As much as Iman is great at sieging on this Melissa, so far this Clint is doing double the work, not only chunking out key members from Vitality's side, but a raw amount of burst. Interesting. Flap making a blind read there, trying to open up this one part of the bush, but watch it every single time. If they can just get a little bit more space after the muddles, they can almost guarantee that inhibitor turret.
Yeah, he didn't have the flicker there too, so it was just probably them really wanting to zone away Team Vitality further from being able to defend that turret, but nonetheless, at least for Vitality now, they're still holding on to their base turret. It's an 8k gold lead that we're looking at right now, though. I think being able to come back from this kind of situation really requires for Eman to get as much farm as he should. But now that Falcons, especially with the Selena, are taking full control of the map, it's looking like a very difficult task at this point.
Well, I think it's a good time to play good and bads here, right? Because truth be told, the best situation possible for Vitality is if they wait 2 Lords, and then they should be able to even out in terms of the gold. If not, they have to get at least steal away 1 Lord and somehow get a complete wipeout on Falcons. 4 out of the 5 would also be ideal, majorly to get that shutdown. That shutdown goal on Haji, but so far I don't think Haji's been really out of position, right? He's been throwing these arrows from so far back, and it's difficult for Vitality, especially when they are the ones on the defense.
Yeah, this Selena is a hero that I really expected to be contested between these two, and whoever seems to be getting his hands on this hero is just able to apply so much pressure against the opponents. But Vitality, you're looking at them right now, they're still showing up, trying to get position around this objective. Oof. I was looking at that arrow.
Yeah, but we've got a slow push down on that bot side, and Niall's already trying to correct that top side. It's going to be back into a neutral state. Same goes for mid, so Falcons will not waste any time. They're going to set that up on a hard push down by mid lane. But somebody's got to correct that bot side at some point.
Ogun already using the Wrath of Dryad. Bravest fighter too from Flap. The tone is welcome though. Gonna be committed onto Ogun. They're gonna catch one, and they don't have the Wrath of Dryad anymore. Flicker already forced out for Ogun, but the Minoan Fury of Finn trying to block off the other members of Falcons. Another knockup coming in from him, but the electrifying beats is dealing a bit too much damage. Look at that off angle arrow once again. Haji landed on Eman, but he's being protected so well.
Oh my god, they're getting corralled like sheep. Super Marco gets 1, 4 more on the chopping block.
Another Bravest fighter from Flap and Super Marco. There's just no one dealing with Super Marco and Kyle in the back lines.
Oh my goodness, they've completely ran them into a corner, and now they're going to go for the endgame scenario. They should be able to defend this, but Iman, he can only take so much damage. Super Marco still has plenty of ult charges. I think he's about to get 2 more here, but they need to clear this wave out.
Okay.
Oh my god.
They get to clear it. They get to clear it for now, but this is Super Marco and Haji. The range that you have to deal with against these 2 members of Falcons. This is no joke. Vitality, I mean, even that Minoan Fury that you saw from Finn earlier, the most that they could do with it is just prevent Falcons from getting even closer, but they weren't able to deal with the other members who were already looking towards engaging from the backlines.
It's just crazy how they're influencing these fights. It's just like it's like a sheepdog corralling sheep. They're just putting them back into the pen every single time, and once they get that back angle, it completely forces Vitality to just say, no, we can't win this fight anymore. We need to keep it front to back as much as we can, and Falcons are the ones who are looking to break that. Not to mention, we should probably drop the bulletproof Marco at this point. He's machine gun Marco, man. He's machine gun Marco with Ballista Haji in the back, being able to siege them down from underneath the turrets is crazy.
Whoa, that was also the great Dragon Spear pickup for Super Marco, as we got to see in the items. Another arrow landing, and they have a Lord still marching in mid. Eman, how does he actually deal with this? Owen does have the flicker once again. Lord already in the base. Eman, below half HP. It's already within range. Vitality have to deal with it first, but Flap lands the stun on Eman, forcing the go away. Kyle finds the kill onto Finn, and Flap is looking to be in danger right here. There goes Wrath of Dryad all over again, and the Falcons, they just put an end to game number 1.
Beautiful game here, beautiful game, but the series ain't over just yet. This is the hard work and adaptation coming in from Team Falcons PH after their crushing loss against Vitality in the group stages. A great adjustment, but also it's not the end of the road just yet. Vitality, they can correct themselves here. It's not impossible. Just know that the priority list has definitely changed.
It's shifted right now. We saw it in the draft. We saw it in the way Falcons were able to play this out. They were very aggressive at times. We thought it would eventually lead into opportunities for Vitality to equalize or turn things around, but they had to keep the gas. They had to keep stepping on the gas. and it was very rewarding for them. They got the snowball that they need. They got everything that Super Marco needed, and Kyle on this surprise joy last pick. It seems like we're yet to see more and more coming into this playoffs.
I really think so, because now we have a very simple solution. Well, not the most simple, but a drafting solution to the Melissa. They expected the Melissa to come out early. They prepared the Clint matchup to win the lane. I got to give it up for Super Marco. It's not an easy lane to win, especially when it's all about positioning and mechanics, but they added the anti-CC from the Bravest Fighter from Flap to cut through the getaway from me, to force space, because if Iman can't auto-attack, he can't get the bonus damage from Muddles.
Yeah, I agree. It hasn't been a really good run for the Lapua as a hero in the current meta in general, but in scenarios like this, I think you see how efficient it can actually be in the XP lane.
Let's not forget about supports dropping Revitalize, picking up Flicker. That's something that you guys are going to be sitting on and thinking about as we throw it back to Rain Day and the panel to break it down for y'all.
A moment electric here in the Lenovo Legion Gauntlet. We had a chance to see two of the top regions in MLBB's history go toe-to-toe, and it was exactly what you hope for, an electric battle where Team Falcons PH take the first win. Haji, bulletproof Super Marco, do not die. If they continue that, well, it could be another semifinal for a Filipino team, but still a lot to happen, a lot of adjustments. Trex, LaFell, what did we see after that one? I mean, you have to first even just address the energy in this room. It's different than any other match we have seen so far at MSC.
Yeah, the hype has definitely not disappointed from crowd to in-game. Falcons showing that they've been definitely doing their homework the past 2 days. They controlled the draft, I feel like. Marco on that Clint pick was just monstrous, farmed much faster than I expected. The amount of damage this guy put up in just under 15 minutes, 80,000 damage. The positioning from him was key, and the distance that Haji was able to make for him with those arrows nonstop was also key. Vitality seemed to have no way in.
The Melissa was picked up. The Clint was immediately responded to. It benefited ultimately Super Marco. That is going to change most likely in this next draft. But if you look at the drums beating, this is also, for those joining us, a rematch of a knockout game that put Team Falcons PH towards elimination. Vitality had moved on. They had just barely gotten through after beating their sister team, Team Falcons Meta, and now they are here and take game one. LaFell, I know you have some stuff to break down with us on what this means, but there are so many resurgences happening from this Philippines team.
No, honestly, like, this is one of the more technical games that we will really see, where it's not a simple rock, paper, scissors, because the main thing that I'll be talking about throughout the analysis is actually the positioning of Team Falcons PH and how, I would say, the first 4 to 5 minutes, they understood what Vitality was trying to do, because Vitality was pretty honest in their early game attempts, and then they were able to capitalize on that by having just one good pick, and that good pick was the Belleric, right? But then evolving, they just, okay, like right now, Trex, help me out. Yeah, just hold this. Yes, thank you very much. So here's the thing. If we're looking about the draft, I'm not going to spend too much time, because it really is on the technicality of dealing with all the dive coming in from Vitality, where in this case, the most important pick is definitely that Belleric. And again, this is something that even people online are like saying, like, why have they not banned out this Belleric? Because right now, a lot of teams are trying to capitalize by using the Valentina, by stealing the Rapid Dryad, but there's more towards the kit of the Belleric than just the simple ult, right? We're going to be looking at some of the highlights here. And this is what I say, that Team Vitality, they're being very honest in what they want. And what do they want? They want this camp here, and then the side camp here that we can see in the mini-map, right? Somewhere above there. So what Team Vitality wanted to do is actually have 60% control of the jungle in the early game, having the Paquito. But the big problem is the existence of this guy, right? Ogwen on this Belleric. This is a big problem, because we're going to be looking at the highlights here, where Belleric is essentially an anti-fun hero, because he knows
no fun to be had.
You want to come in close, and then you're like, oh, this is a bad idea, I want to run away. But it's like, no, you can't run away, right? Let's look at here. He was able to stop with the Raptor the Dry, and then later on able to use the first ability to bring Finn back. And this is part of the first I would say, major problem in this lineup where Vitality's win condition is shut down by one hero, but then we escalate into how the team fights look out. Because the most important thing here is that, hold on, pause. I want everyone to see the positioning of Team Falcons PH, knowing that they're going up against a Minotaur, going up against the likes of the Paquito, as well as the Valentina. Quite a lot of AoE. So we see that, hold on, where's the...
Doing all right, Trex?
All right. Look at all the positioning.
Switch hands, there you go.
Ogwyn is at the first position, having the most amount of vision, right? And then we can see Flap coming in from the side, also trying to see what he can get at this particular area, right? Because the vision is looking pretty good for Haji. Haji has a lot of vision here, considering that Ogwyn has already given this side of the vision, as well as Flap giving around this side of the vision, making it so that he can just keep throwing out the arrows. And because everyone is so spread out, it makes it so that an engage coming in from Vitality will not always look very, very clean. They're always spread, making it so that they minimize the amount of, I would say, mistake that could happen. And then this is where we start to see the individual skills of Team Falcons PH, because they already made a mistake. And we can already see the movements of Team Falcons. They wanted to retreat. They say like, all right, we bought our engage. We can try again in a few more seconds. But because Vitality wanted to go in, look at the retaliation. Look at this one. Look at Haji, right? Haji is coming in from the side. He's not going to be joining the fight. And then Super Marco, such a safe distance away from the rest of Team Vitality. Look at how they're going to square them in. Because for Team Vitality's, having that Minotaur as well as the Melissa makes you just slightly bit more just clumped up, right? It becomes more, what do you say, obvious. It becomes obvious.
Yeah.
It becomes obvious that you're just going to be there, and then
you're telegraphing what you're doing, basically.
Yeah, and this whole area is covered by Falcons. Even Haji, we're going to be looking at his position. He's from down here, and yet he's able to get a stun on the Melissa. Long story short, they were able to surround them every single time, making all of the positioning coming in from Vitality looks bad, but actually it's the amazing positioning of Team Falcon. So this is one of those games where the draft could go either way, but the piloting of this draft is next level. This is not easy MLBB. This is a draft that not every team can use.
And it's also clear that maybe things go differently. Maybe the Barats gets a little bit of an early kill. He takes the lead over the Lapu Lapu, makes him a little bit less of a threat. And then that pick can then pick somebody off. And then they're fighting 5v4. Maybe that happens. It doesn't happen, though. Super Marco gets that pick, and maybe the decision is, if he's got a Clint, we need to fight on the other side of the jungle, try to get our EXP going. All of these things are going to be looked at in these 10 minutes before. But in the meanwhile, we told you how important that matchup here today was, not just for the regions, not just for the organizations, but for the club championship. We had Chris Tunn have a chance to catch up with Danny Angles from Team Vitality earlier today.
Chris here with Danny Engels of Vitality. Danny, nice to see you, of course. And I mean, it's a big day for Vitality, especially on the MLBB side of things. You've taken on Falcons in a knockout game. How big is this for you guys and for the club championship?
It's a massive game for us. It's very pivotal for our club championship because not only are we eyeing towards a grand final in MLBB, but we can also shut down the Falcons with 200 points, right? So it's a 2-on-1 opportunity that we had in the women's tournament as well.
Yes.
We took it there, so we want to take it again.
And you're doing really well. I mean, currently sitting third, I believe, in the club championship. Everything kind of going to plan right now? Has there been any you kind of think, oh, we could have done better, or some surprises along the way as well?
I mean, we could always do better, right? But overall, I think we're very much on track to fight for the club championship win, and definitely a top 3 finish for sure.
Excellent. Now, what about the rest of the tournaments that are going to kind of be coming up? CS is a big one. We've got that now at the Accord Arena as well. So that's going to be really cool for the French fans here.
Yeah, and week 7 will be crazy. I mean, we will have 4 teams in total competing in week 7, and then the grand final, obviously being in such a big arena, hopefully with our home crowd there as well, and hopefully with us in the final too, because we first have to reach that. But if that's all coming down to the final game in Counter-Strike for the club championship, I guess that would be the dream.
Yeah, no, I mean, that makes for entertaining viewing, right? I mean, I think for me, I've been in this industry a long time, and a lot of European esports. How cool is it to see Paris kind of have this? Vitality are a French organization who've been around for so long. For France to have this in Paris, this huge event of the EWC, it's got to be cool, right?
Absolutely, and it makes me so proud to see that all the players from all over the world come here for Vitality, and they call it their hometown, their home city, right? Even though they're from Jakarta, have never been to Paris before, but they feel at home here, and I think it's the fans that make it so special for them.
Yeah. Anybody do it better than the French fans or not?
Well, I am German. I wish it would be better in Germany as well, but I have to give the credits of the French fans, KC, Mate, our fans as well. They're the best out there, for sure.
Good, Corzy. Danny, thank you very much. I'm sure we'll be catching up some time as well, and good luck in the rest of your tournaments, guys.
Thank you so much.
Back to you.
Thank you, Chris, talking a little bit about what it means. And speaking of what it means, you guys can hear it. There's a drum battle going on. Let's see what's happening. Well,
the Hope Bringer takes game number 1 in this best of 5. Oh my goodness, it is crazy here at the Lenovo Legion Gauntlet. Guys, how do you feel after winning game number 1? How do we feel?
Hey, let's go, Falcons! 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 Let's go, Falcons!
So much energy. I love it so much. This is what Team Falcons has been cheering. But I want to know, what does Team Vitality have over there? Let's go see Milosh.
You think this is good? You think this is good? I'll give you a battle. Anaswaranya Vitality! Let's go! Let's go! Anaswaranya! They might be down 1 game, but they got this one. Let's go loud! Anaswaranya! This is what it's about, baby. Let's go!
well, that is what it is about. Team Falcons and Team Vitality fighting for a club championship. One will have a chance for a win here. One needs it. One doesn't, but would love the points because week 7, as Danny mentioned, 4 teams from Team Vitality competing in that week. It could come down to 1 map in CS. That would be crazy.
By the way, quick shout outs to Milosh. That was a pretty good Indo that he brought there. Sounds like a native. Saying Manaswaranya.
My man can speak a lot of languages, okay? He's got at least 2 or 3 in the pocket. Because I know he speaks French. I'm pretty sure he got Arabic down. He's got English. What's one more? I mean,
hieroglyphs.
Hieroglyphics. Going all the way back.
I would
Sanskrit?
I would like to learn how to speak binary.
Oh, man. Well, that's a different language, but that pays
Morse
a lot.
code.
Well, yeah, when you learn those, that pays a lot, or you can't talk about your job, basically.
Yeah.
2 descriptions for those languages. At this point, though, the language of wins in MLBB. Let's jump back to that. Team Vitality, rocky start, although the fans are still in it. And I think they're looking for a reason to start jumping up out of their seats, Trex. Haven't given it to them yet. What's the difference now in game 2 that'll get them jumping up?
Well, I mean, we definitely have to remember this is a best of 5. There's a lot of time to adapt. I don't think Vitality was ready for Falcons to draft like that. I don't think they were expecting the Selena pick. I don't think they were expecting a Clint pick. I think that, especially during first phase, they felt like they had Falcons cornered. They had all the answers. The Barats pick felt confident, right? And I think they definitely could have approached that differently. They maybe could have gone for the Belleric up front, changed things up, and this is their chance to do that now.
Something that I do agree with Brigida is that I think for both these teams, they are actually fighting for that Selena because both Moreno as well as Haji has showed amazing performance on that Selena. And again, Selena has only lost like what? Maybe 3 times the entire MSC. So that's definitely a hot pick for now, especially coming in from both teams. So I feel like for Vitality, maybe they can go for something of the same kind of draft, but they just gotta fix the early game approach because the Belleric catching out 2 members, I think that really created too much trouble for them and too much opportunity for Falcons to just control the map.
To me, I think just observing, and you tell me if you're leaning towards agreeing with me, Trex, it just felt like the Melissa was a very big carry choice earlier on that they expected to do a lot more. And the Clint was a surprise that it worked so well, but not only worked so well, it basically nullified what the Melissa could do. Do you pick that later? Do you try to work it around with bans to support that? Do you abandon it and say, hey, you want to go Melissa? We'll try to figure out an answer?
I would say this. Vitality definitely has the opportunity to run something similar that they ran last game. We saw some big mistakes early on. What LaFell was talking about, Bratz taking that dive under the mid-tier 3 tower, and then they end up losing two people off of it. So I think Super Marco had too much opportunity to farm. I think Haji had too much opportunity to farm. Vitality, on their other hand, even in that big last Lord fight, that was a fight that Vitality really could have won with the Wrath of Dryad getting thrown out the window, so many skills that Falcons made a mistake on. It showed that they were just too far ahead. And with a Clint like that, if you can scale, the guy was what, 4-0 something, 5-0 something at that point. The damage was way too high. So if Vitality does want to go for the similar draft, they need to change, maybe not be so aggressive early on, or if you are, don't mess it up.
Taking a lot of time on this ban, and they ban out the Valentina.
I honestly want to see a Belleric first pick here, knowing that the Valentina isn't going to be there.
Selena.
Or Selena, yeah, because again, I'm starting to jump on the train that Belleric is a legit problem in the meta right now. Like, he shuts down so many things just by existing.
He lost in the first series, though. I mean, but that was maybe a difference in quality of those two teams, potentially, that exposed that characters not being able to have the impact. But when they were fighting around that game plan, guys, and again, going back to the Barats, you got to say Vitality's committed to doing what they think is going to work.
Yeah, I think they are on the train of, the draft wasn't that bad, it was our gameplay maybe. Again, this is just first pick. Everything could change from here. Falcons also, do they pick up the same thing they played last time? Do they go for the Belleric and the,
Lilia, Eudora, Selena, Valentina. Those have been the two.
That was banned last game.
Yeah.
And the Selena now picked up with the Herrera. LaFell?
I don't know. Personally, for me, just because the Belleric is open, I think that's going to be a pretty safe pick. In terms of their jungler, I don't know if they want to rush a Ling here, because again, it's going to be countered. There's still a Moskov, there's still a Melissa, so in the gold lane, there's plenty of counters. I know when it comes to the roam, there's quite a few still. They pick up the Paquito, which
could flex.
It could flex, but it seems pretty honest because they already have the Barat, so I'm not entirely sure. Maybe they really just want to run it again. Like, just without the Valentina, pick something else, and then they're good.
You go for Belleric here, though, right? I mean,
I assume so.
You have to.
You have to, because your heroes kind of get destroyed by the Belleric.
This isn't some funky gold something. Okay.
I'm not so sure about the Lilia, just because, again, her HP pool is pretty low, and she can get...
Interesting.
She's going to have a rough time going up against the Selena. Like, even just going through the traps is going to take out so much of your HP. So, Vitality is cooking. I'm just not sure what the temperature is. I'm worried.
Not sure if it's cooked
I'm worried that it will be overcooked.
Has it reached 165 yet, Fahrenheit, for the chicken? You're not sure?
Like
as long as it's in the oven like 10 more minutes?
As long as it's not undercooked, it's okay. But I'm worried it's going to be overcooked.
A little too much fusion in here right now, you know? Like, it's multiple nationalities splashing. I mean, Val can just takes the Belleric then, right?
If not, it can pick up a gold laner here. I don't think there's any super prio when it comes to the gold lane. But no, they do want a Clint, so they make sure they grab that for themselves. And I feel like the thing about a Selena in the current meta, there's quite a lot of roamers that helps out anyways. So even if you don't get a Belleric, it's a-okay. Because they pick up something like the Cho that can help out quite a lot.
I'm still so thrown off by this Lilia, I'm not going to lie.
It's too early, yeah.
And it's everything. You have the Selena that has huge range. You have this Clint that has huge range.
Dude, even the Clint
Harar has so many iframes. Even if you don't go down, how does the Lilia fight back right now? Unless there's some clutch pick that Vitality is going to bring in the second phase that's going to be able to open up these fights and give her the space to come in.
Right now, Vitality, what they're banking on is for a maximum like level 3 power spike, because right now having the Lilia level 1, you're already pretty strong. You can already have a lot of forward momentum. With the Paquito, you need level 2, and then you can already have a forward momentum. So I think they're trying to go all in this early game strat, because now that I look at this, I think this draft is salvageable if this Paquito goes gold.
Yeah,
right? Have something else in the jungle, and then I think they got a draft.
That was the flex I was talking about, because we've seen the double fighter mentioned coming into this. Could it potentially be a gold lane Paquito, like LaFell's saying? And we could see something else jump into the jungle. The Ling's still available, difficult, obviously, to play. The Joy worked so well.
Actually, now seeing Herrera, Selena, as well as Clint, this is very lingable. They just got to take out all of this
like that word.
heavy CC heroes out of the way. Like Belleric, they already banned out the Belleric, they already banned out the Alice. So yeah, it looks lingable.
It's part of the LaFell dictionary, actually.
Lingable, baby.
I'll gift you one later.
Claude and Bella.
That's one for free. I'll give you the extras.
Yeah, exactly. So this is looking pretty similar. The Cho, Arome, you mentioned, could have that same impact. Grab a pick. The Harith is well banned out. So it does seem like they don't think that Paquito is going to go gold, banning out the Harith.
Yep.
Safety precautions for sure. Moskov is still open, but again, it's another short-range hero on Vitality, and that's what, Falcon is really pigeonholing them into this. We're going to outrange you. We're going to poke. We're going to continuously send arrows, and you're going to have no way in. So Vitality has to find something here to open up. Again, unless it works out perfectly like Lafell said, where first 4 minutes, they get a couple pickoffs, they invade jungle, they do something of that nature. But still, what roamer do they put in front of Lilia here to open up that space?
Here's the thing. I feel like Vitality, if they pick up a Ling and then either a Hylos or a Gatot, they're looking very strong. Like, that makes the draft more balanced, because come to the late game, that can help out. Now they pick up the Uranus. There's basically no instant crowd control here. This makes the Ling look much more better.
Uranus picked up for EXP most likely.
Even a Grok wouldn't be bad here for Vitality.
We have seen Vitality grab a Badang, a Badang.
I don't know if we see the Badang here.
I feel like Ling Gatot would be pretty simple, but honestly, quite a lot of roamers should work well.
Yep. Gatakacha also a part of this matchup as well. Also, the Lilia, one of the only other mids that Team Falcons has played with Haji, and very, very aware of that matchup as well. Haji just got the better end of Moreno, and that was tough. And that's somebody they lean on who's got a lot of success for this team previously. It's the Glue that rounds this one out, and the Nolan as well in the jungle,
which I think is also still pretty good coming into the mid game. Once 2 items on that Nolan, should be able to burst down basically everyone except for the Uranus. Unless they're able to stun the Uranus up, then yeah, maybe they can get a kill. Right now, I'm liking Vitality's draft, having this double fighter with the Nolan. Seems pretty strong.
And the glue roam, which is most likely, I'm guessing what this is going to end up being.
So it's Paquito
will be a great. It is going to be a Paquito.
Wow.
Baratzi XP, most likely. And then the Glue Roam's going to preemptively do great against just about any roam they pick.
Oh. Wait, is it Khalid or Vendetta?
I don't know. It's Khalid.
All right, it's Khalid.
Wait. It says Khalid. It shows Benedetta.
Okay.
My guess is it is a Khalid.
The Khalid and Selena
over here,
and Harara, they're a very strong mid trio. They can stop Vitality to fight this early game. So I think Vitality might have a bad time invading.
But the Glue will do great at the stuns. I don't know. I think both teams have answers. Just like last game, both teams have a way to win this game. They have win conditions. It's all going to be about execution.
Well, Team Falcons PH land the first knockout blow against Team Vitality. It's Vitality's time to return service in Game 2. Let's send it over to Gideon and Brigitte.
Thanks so much, Rain Day. Holy, who was expecting the draft to look like this as we head on into game number 2 between our most anticipated series of Vitality facing off against Team Falcons. A double fighter comp now facing with long-range projectiles, but now with Khalid, this early game could be a lot more sophisticated than we thought.
Yeah, it's gonna be Vitality starting it off a bit more aggressively though, but hey, it's another Selena game from Haji. It's been a really great one for them in game number 1. But I think Vitality, I like how they tried to deal with the problems that came out of that game one by one, especially starting off with the gold lane matchup, right? You're not necessarily dealing with a gold lane that would clearly lose out against this Clint from Super Marco, but in mid, oh wait, you don't lose against Super Marco, but he gets picked off in the Riverside.
Yep, this is exactly what we're expecting to see again. This is some really good coordination for Falcons. They understand that a lot of the early objectives, a lot of rotations are going to call upon their side laners to get into the fight. And Vitality, unfortunately, if you get hit by that arrow, it's just good night, bye-bye. Luckily, at least for Iman, it's not the end of the world. The kill goes over to Haji. He will be able to still clear these waves pretty fast, as you can see, right? As soon as the wave is done, it's either he's helping the jungle, it's either he's setting up vision. He is making sure that he's maximizing every second of this game, knowing that those precious seconds could net them a win. If they can just outlast Vitality, Super Marco will have more than enough damage.
Oh, that's a lot of damage to deal with Finn too. Fortunately, he's a Glue. He will be a bit more tankier. Owen with the quick sand guard will at least survive that attempt from Nile. But every single time, even in game number 1, when Falcons have been winning it out big, it always started with Haji getting these small wins across the map, right? So I don't think it's a good sign as much for Vitality just yet. Let's see how it goes for this first turtle though. Oh, Eman again. Eman!
Oh no!
Eman has to get away from this. Doesn't have level 4 just yet. Owen and Super Marco are just chasing him down. That's another dash forward. But Eman, he will survive for now.
How lucky that he survives there. How lucky. And now this turtle fight, it's going to be a bit awkward.
Okay.
We'll see how this breaks.
Shogun already very low. The flicker from Finn catching 2. Niles going in. Tries to go for the kill, but Haji! He picks him off first. Now it's all over to Falcons to take control of the turtle pit. They're going to flicker forward even just to take down Moreno, and they do! Charging, the Daytona's welcome, but to no avail. Falcons winning it out once more.
Unfortunate for Shogun. He charged up the the arrow connects and he's so dead. So dead. A 4-kill lead, and now first turtle falls into the hands of Falcons.
Hey, Haji's 3-0-1 again.
Whoa.
This is the exact same, or almost the exact same scenario we've seen earlier in game number 1, and Falcons once again securing the objective. Finn finds one, but he's going to be all alone here. A bit of help from Moreno, but I don't think the damage is going to be enough just yet. And now Finn will have to go down. Vitality, they're just losing members every single time.
They need to regroup. They need to regain composure here. Finn is going to be the secondary win condition here, because so far, I don't think they can really deal with Finn once he gets some items and gets really tanky. But so far, this 2K lead developed by the side of Falcons, nicely distributed around, but heavily centered around Haji, is going to start to be, well, not as painful if you don't get hit by the arrows, obviously, but more importantly so, just look at them continuously making sure that strong side will stay as strong side, despite the fact that Eman, if he can just dodge the trapping recall, he has a pretty good kill angle.
Yeah, they tried to deal with the Clint through this, but I don't think they're able to manage it the way we're seeing it as of now. 1-6 kill score on the board, and they're forced to play from behind all over again. The rotation seems so much slower too, especially as Falcons, with this lead you're seeing in Haji's hands, are just able to maximize it so well that you don't get to see Vitality use the pressure of a Glue Lilia together. I mean, who could even try to go and pressure at this point? There's Owen, who's just always roaming around the map. Haji, who's just again landing these arrows over and over again. And you don't even get access to Kyle's jungle nor side of the map.
Yep. I think really it was supposed to be Finn onto Ogwin here. That was supposed to be a matchup. Oh, wait, hold on. The arrow doesn't connect, but luckily they managed to zone them out for the time being. And this is the pressure that we're talking about when you have side lane controls, right? You're able to kind of walk into enemy territory and do whatever you want. And Finn was supposed to be the guy who says, no, you're not allowed to do that. I can just walk away from the lane. I will always be a threat to you. But now with the economic lead, Finn is just too soft at this stage of the game to be that guy.
Yeah, Vitality still. Shogun's gonna position himself here. Will decide to catch Ogwin though.
It's
that's
good.
not the standout flap, but that's still gonna be a pickoff for Team Vitality. Now Vitality getting one. They're looking for more. Flap very low. He is gonna get away from here, but it's controlled by Vitality now. The turtle is over to their side unless Falcons find a way around this, but it's not looking to be the case. Vitality at least get one objective for themselves.
And now you can see how the battle spells really take into effect and how Shogun is so confident in going for these Daytona welcomes, even when it doesn't look like there's going to be follow-up. Everybody on the side of Falcons have taken flicker. Same can be said about Vitality. You dodge an ability, that's great. You get hit by it, it's guaranteed death.
Oh, it's better
Eman.
if they find Eman, but he dodges that very cleanly. He will still get an opportunity to defend this tier 1 up top, especially as Finn 2 approaches. Oh, but the arrow and the bullets! Owen landing the last hit, Eman!
He needed to change it up. They clocked it. Haji remembered, hey, he used the knockup strike previously to try and deter us. There's a high chance he's going to do it again. So I'm going to throw it in your original spot rather than praying that you just double jab. So really good work here because Falcons, they're taking into account all the small little details on top of the big macro plays. And look at Flap, right? He should be unkillable in these stages, but as long as he buys time, you notice on the opposite end, Super Marco, he's having the gold lane experience. He's already invested in so many companies, more than you can imagine. The S&P 500 is bowed down to Super Marco.
It's still a win for Super Marco, still a win for Team Falcons. They get more out of that, and the lead is still in their hands. And Haji as the KDA machine. Those small decisions you even highlighted in that particular sequence are just making the difference for Team Falcons in this game. Selena, 2 games in a row. We thought it was going to be contested, but they got it all over again. And now Vitality are struggling to find footing. And we look at the gold leads. At least for the junglers, it's relatively close. But you see the major difference when it comes to Super Marco and Eman.
Yup. This is where it starts to get really dangerous, because eventually, once Super Marco gets all of his items, all these fighters who don't build some form of bruiser and decide to go full damage will get punished. Like, Iman can potentially get one shot if he doesn't get his combo down cleanly.
There's a lot more pressure over Vitality's side right now. Daytona's welcome being charged. Oh,
it's good.
He finds Ogwen all over again. The target, the same exact target they went for earlier, but now he gets to cast the Raging Sandstorm. Moreno finds the kill onto him, though Black Shoe's already committed as well. Super Marco is within range. Eman 2 will be here, but the zoning from Flap is helping out so much. Kyle trying to find a target. Finn tries to block off his way. Vitality are fighting for positioning in this objective, and they're not letting up.
We need to see Finn look to pull somebody out of position. It's got to be Marco, but the Flickers, they can't get it out of Marco just yet. They might have to trade for it. Let's see if Eman can find a position.
Oh, they actually find Flap. Eman regaining position, and Nile securing the turtle. Vitality are now slowly getting back and invading into Falcon's side.
That was a little bit of a weird fight there. Flap did not necessarily have to stick around for that long. Oh, another Daytona's welcome.
Fracture still there. Nile trying to burst him down. There's a flicker from Ogwen and the quick sand guard, but he is not going to get out.
So far, so good. We've now seen the Gold League kind of swing back into Vitality's favor. And at this stage, now we see the fighters really start to take into effect. Eman already, if we pull up the item list, I'm pretty sure he's already done with his first item at the bare minimum. Probably second item already done 2, but he's 1, 3, and 1, so let's say a couple of components, right? He's got enough damage to deal with the squishies, but he can't close the distance in time. Ooh! Not without some help here. And that's why Shogun is playing a very good front line here, where he's baiting his opponents to walk on in. And guess what? By the time we actually get even a single mini stun or a 20% slow, that's when you see them pull them all the way back in.
Yeah, he at least has to. That's where you see it. And Flap, that's the second time they tried to go for him. And every single time you're seeing how the damage is seemingly already enough, even with just Eman and a bit of help towards Eman, again from Nile mostly. The burst damage is really starting to come through, and I think that's been the trend for Vitality. They're always after the frontline heroes first, and it's not like they're lacking the tools to deal with them, and they get the wins from that point onwards. That's another target locked on by Finn. Beautiful. He finds Super Marco. Haji trying to run away, but Nile shuts him down perfectly on a killing spree right now, and he dashes out. He still survives. Falcons are not able to find a trade.
Nile was just mogging them. He knew he had the fracture ready to go to give him an extra 2 dashes if he just timed it well, and so he does. Falcons now discombobulated from that fight. Let's watch it one more time, because again, this is one of those moments where you just wished you just reacted a little bit faster. Super Marco using the trapping recoil falls into one of the goblins, and before he gets the flicker off, it's already too late. Finn flickers instantly, not giving him any time to react to it, and that's the scenario we need to see multiple times. Nobody has a real answer to Finn if he gets on top of Super Marco, but up until then, I think the rest of the Falcons just gotta punch him in the face.
Yeah, gotta be careful. It's always been Shogun setting up for these major team fights too, so at least Flap has info, but he's not gonna go for Flap. He's gonna go for Ogwen, and with the damage coming in from Nile, they almost had the win, but in the backlines, Eman actually found Super Marco. Falcons are falling one by one. Kyle trying to escape. Eman diving onto the turret, and Nile providing the damage with the fracture. The punches, they're still going for more. Vitality, they count 3 from Team Falcons.
And now they're showing some team fight prowess, a beautiful push and pull, a juggling of aggro, making sure that everybody was able to take one tower shot so that nobody was too low for Falcons to trade. That's the level of prestige we're playing at here for Mobile Legends, especially at MSC. They're not mucking around no more, because once you start seeing ultimates being used to run away, you know you've got them on the ropes, and you've got to really press those angles. Similarly to putting somebody in a corner in boxing, once you've dazed them, you got to go for the kill, and Vitality just don't miss.
Unbelievable. I thought Shogun and Flap were just exchanging blows and just standing right before the objective started, but it was just all set up. They were trying to get their attention, and that's where they really focused on the target that they wanted. Ogwen has always been going through these moments against Vitality, and it's not looking too good. But I think more than that, though, the way Eman right now is not the very vulnerable type of gold laner. He's a lot more aggressive, and even with that solo kill in the backlines has made a huge difference for Team Vitality and how they're taking control of this game right now. Oh, an arrow is gonna land though. That's gonna be on Moreno. Doesn't get to click the black shoes in time. Ogwen doesn't get traded out. Quick Sandguard fortunately saves him. But the Lord is now inside this tier 3 turret. Falcons get to defend it for now, though.
Man, that's some fat damage coming out from Nile. Everybody having a Malefic Roar ready to go to cut through all the armor that's been set up by the Falcon side. Let's look at the items one more time here. Sky Piercer purchase coming in from Kyle. He needs that. However, I'm not so sure in this particular bout. I feel like Super Marco is going to be the main win condition no matter what. So a Bruiser build would have made a lot more sense. He does have the War Axe, which is nice. I would have liked to see the Queen's Wings on top of it. We look down at specifically Iman, right? And you can see he wants to go for that full damage, but he also recognizes that if he gets chunked out too early on, he might not be able to clutch back up. So it's safer just to go for the fight.
And look at where Nile and Shogun are currently positioned. They're really trying to go for more unexpected angles and plays against Team Falcons. Fortunately for them, they're really grouping up. They don't want to lose any more in the process because it's clearly Vitality winning majority of it at this point. And we have a minute until the Lord spawns next. But can Falcons actually afford to go for a play? Because it's always been Vitality, right? It's always been Shogun starting these engages with a Daytona's Welcome Flicker that catches them by surprise.
Here's what I foresee is going to happen. Shogun and Flap are going to continuously trade blows, right? Flap, unfortunately, just doesn't have enough of a lead to put Shogun behind. So then it becomes the two conditions. Can Haji hit somebody else other than the frontliners of Vitality? And the second one is once Flap starts getting into the backlines, especially if he can get on top of Niall and force him to use some abilities, probably not onto Finn, but they need to figure out where Iman is exactly. The last team fight, they managed to get into their backlines. They cannot afford to let that happen again. And unfortunately, Flap is kind of the only frontliner who can do this. We've seen Owen get punished multiple times throughout this game against Finn. So that's just the matchup they cannot sync up. It's a game of rock, paper, scissors. The question is who throws the first hand?
Which I think Vitality are already trying to set up for again, as they've been managing the waves constantly, leading to this next objective spawn, and it's Falcons who's trying to respond to whatever they've been able to do already. They're already taking control. That's an arrow landing to the front lines, but Falcons might not decide to go for Shogun just yet. They know there's still a Flicker. They know there's still a Daytona's Welcome. But Kyle, if he finds Eman here, which he doesn't, that could have been something. But they're still not going to commit. They see other members of Vitality nearby too.
They know for a fact that it's just not worth committing so many ultimates just for Iman. They need something a little bit better here, and they need those structures, and the only way they're going to get it is through that Lord. So far, as we can see the positions here, Vitality have a much bigger spread. They want to punish Iman.
Oh, maybe they want to use their ultimates onto Iman after all. That's an Abyssal Arrow and the Raging Sandstorm. But under the turret, Iman! He nearly found an outplay there and bought enough time. So Vitality could secure the objective.
I mean, they tried for it. And so it's still a very tough bout. There could have been a moment there where it could have gotten a lot worse, but at least for Vitality, this 5.2k lead is something that they can run with. Moreno now becoming a legitimate threat to the frontliners, so now the roles start to reverse. Shogun as well as Finn need to create that space for Moreno to get those free hits. If they can force Ogwen out, that's even better. If they can hurt Flap, even better. So far, I think that as long as Moreno doesn't get hit by an arrow, which makes me wonder, maybe you should have taken Purify. But at the same time, it's like you get chased down by Kyle and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, honestly, it's been flickers everywhere since game number 1. I feel like that's going to be the trend since it's the... Oh, wow. We get a close-up of that?
Yeah. I didn't know you can get that close, to be honest.
Me too. I was surprised. But I think, yeah, that's going to be the trend probably based on the playstyle that both of these teams have been wanting to play, at least in the series and against each other, to be specific. But the Lord is still marching. This is not the evolved Lord just yet, but there could be potential flicker plays. Finn is yet to find an entry, but Super Marco starting to feel the damage! And the perfect entry gets set up by Vitality! Finding Super Marco as the first pickup. Now it's Flap looking like to be the next. Moreno finally able to land all these glooms. He's free enough to land these hits, and they take out 2 base turrets. They're already inside the base, and they want to go for Haji. Kyle trying to run away, going for the clear as much as they can alongside Ogwin, but Vitality just want to clean up. Finn is also still alive, and Eman's just locking on the base. We're looking like it's another equalizing series. 1-1 for Vitality and Falcons.
Hey, we're gonna have the most lively stage here at EWC with the fans on both sides getting what they want, a 1-1. Let's see how long this series can be extended for. Holy, what a fight, man. I love the fact that there's so much thought put into these drafts. Every stage of the game, you're expecting the composition to work just a little bit differently. Obviously, the fans are more than excited, but this is not a simple game. It's a best of 5 for a reason. It's an elimination match for a reason.
Really good adjustments, especially from Vitality. If you saw the Melissa countered out in game number 1, I think you could pretty much say the same for Super Marco on the Clint this time. He too has been answered here by Vitality through the sequence of the drafts, through the flex that they did on blue side. And they weren't able to replicate what they did, especially nor even with the Selena in their hands.
Yeah, and that's the thing about the Selena. If you don't hit those arrows, you're not going to feel like she's having that major impact. She can influence the game when you have a lead, but when you're behind, you notice that all of a sudden she's a disruptor. She is a CC chain breaker more than anything else. The only unfortunate thing is that Bulletproof Marco, they got underneath. The glue stuck his skin straight to that Kevlar, and my God, he just couldn't flicker out in time. There's so many scenarios where it ended like that. And worse yet, once Finn got like maxed out items, he couldn't even deal damage to him.
It's always Finn or Shogun. That last setup from Shogun though, the one you're looking at right now, I think that really was the deciding play of this game. The moment they took down Super Marco, they pretty much equalized the series then.
They do. I will have to admit, Shogun, he's got the best Detna's welcome to Flicker I've ever seen. We're throwing it back over to the panel to break it down for y'all. What happened that game?
Vitality fans saying cry some tears because they took it in game 1. That's for sure. There was no doubt there was going to be a lot of back and forth between these two super fans, and it is giving us the most lively stage at EWC right now. Guaranteed. Lenovo Legion Gauntlet, the place to be. MSC and MLBB. Welcome back. My name's Rainday. I'm joined by Trex and LaFell. And guys, breaking that down, we just saw it there. We saw Shogun. Same first pick, or first 2-3 pick, Barats. Now he gets the early lead, and he doesn't die at all. I mean, they realized they were onto something. They just needed to play it a little better.
I'm sorry I doubted it. We questioned the Barats first pick. It all makes sense now. This has to just be pure comfort for Shogun. And we were talking about it during the game. Even in the game they lost, the guy never missed those Detna flickers. I mean, it was just insanity.
I mean, like, here's the thing. I feel like part of the reason why Shogun was able to use the Barats that well is because if we're looking at the drafts coming in from Falcon, they don't have a lot of ways to counter-engage, right? In the previous game, they had the Barats. So if you go in, we're going to stop you. And then they even ban out the Cho. Cho is also one of those heroes where, okay, the Barats chomps onto someone, and then Cho can just equalize it by kicking the damage dealer, right? In that situation, probably the Nolan. So I feel like this is one of those games where Shogun has an amazing Barats, and it's just amplified by the fact that there's no hero to really punish him.
I think it was also, we'll have to look back, but the Cho got banned. I wonder if it's actually on the side of Team Falcon's PH that banned it.
I know Vitality banned both the Belleric as well as the Cho.
And they banned Cho.
In the 4th and 5th ban.
Okay, well then that makes a ton of sense. So now they've got to answer that question, which is obviously going to be, will you bring the Barats back? Will you ban it? Will you make Shogun play something else? And the other side of things, we saw Nile, who was so good. We mentioned this new rivalry in the jungle. Nile had a tough game 1, but then he went on to the Nolan and dominated. A little bit more about Nile is something we wanted to showcase to all of you wondering where this star from Team Vitality came from. If you want to know more about his story, take a look.
See the taunts live on stage.
He's very stubborn.
He always knows something the others don't know.
Gue ngerasa ego dia cukup tinggi, ego player, ego jungler. Nile is best jungler for me ya.
It's started from COVID. I played 80 hours per day or 12 hours, something like that, because I don't have nothing. I don't know what to do. And suddenly I am reaching a top global.
Very competitive player because he always thinks about the game all of the time.
Head coach of Onyx MLBB MPL contact me. Do you want to join Onyx Sports? My ego said, hell yeah.
Before he's a big fan Onyx in Vitality, and I think still the same Nile but more mature.
Got Nile in the jungle, man. They gon' win.
Onyx loaned me to Geek Farm. I'm reaching my first international M5. I'm not playing in season 13 because I think I need to fix myself. I think it was a bit of mess up. My mindset was.
He was barred for 2 official matches.
During the M5 series, Nile has been suspended because of the accident.
Not only me, like all of us, I think, get mad and angrier. I just want to like this, but I don't know, suddenly it came up. I totally regret it.
I know in his heart he's very kind, but he's a funny guy also.
I need to control myself.
He doesn't do any mistake anymore. Nile is mature person right now.
Everything I do, pack a punch, back it up.
Beating Kyrie in grand finals to me meant a lot to me because he was the top jungler in Indonesia before, not him anymore. If you can see my reaction after we winning the grand finals,
you don't need to compare to Kyrie lah about yourself. You become champion, bro, for your own team also.
Yang bisa compare Nile itu for now cuma TNZ, but I still choose Nile for me.
Proud sitting next to you. I will help my best to making you the best.
I cannot do it by myself. That's why I need their help, and maybe they need my help, so we can reach our golden road together. The person I look up, it was my father. My father is passed away. Back then, he was humble and he's the type of person and down to earth. And I wish I become a person like that also. Inspiring me so much because before he is an athlete in chess, that's why he inspired me so much. Taught me so much about life.
1v1v1.
Well, it's amazing to hear a little bit about Nile's story, the exciting and superstar jungler on Team Vitality. He mentioned fighting against Kyrie. He also mentioned his father and his humility that he learned from that. Your reactions to just seeing a little bit more about Nile, Trex. We know what he can do. He just showed it. But as his story evolves, this could be an amazing moment to add to what is already a great character study.
I like the fact that he has definitely mellowed out a bit, but I still think he has that ego in him, and I think that's what you need to be the best right now, and I think that's what we're waiting to see. We're waiting to see these players really bring it all out and not be scared to show it off a little bit.
Yeah, because we know that Nile has the horsepower, right? He has the ego, he has personality, and we saw sometimes he goes overboard. But this is the thing about growing up, right? You tend to know how to control yourself. Now you know that you can go all in the game, but then once you celebrate, you're just like, all right, that was good. Good on you guys.
Thumbs.
Yes. No, this and etc.
You know what? I will say this: at a young age, I was playing with the U17 men's national team for football, soccer, and it is a lot when you're a 15-year-old.
Football.
You start preparing for a World Cup. There are guys who are after that about to go pro, and they're 15 or 16. They're about to go pro. Like they jump out of high school. And I remember myself, I was not quite ready for that jump. And I think I've seen over the years maturity come in different ways. But sometimes the one thing I look at and I said, I didn't have the ego to say I'm that guy yet. And that is something that you said, he bringing it back a little bit. Trek, sometimes you do have to let that show for a big
You gotta have that dog in you.
You gotta
have that dog in you sometimes. And I think Nile has that dog in him.
I'm Muslim, so that's haram. So I'm gonna change mine to I don't know, a tiger. I got a tiger in me. Roar.
You got that tiger in you?
Yeah, for sure, man. Here's the thing. I feel like now this is one of those reasons why with this assassin meta coming back, it's so good for those junglers that has this very high ego, because you kind of need that to play the assassins. Because if you're going in with an assassin and then you have like doubts, can I kill the guy or not? You're kind of using the wrong hero. Am I right?
It's just a mindset.
It's just a mindset. It's
all
like,
a mindset.
if I can kill you, I'll kill you. In game.
Of course. Well, comparing different thoughts, comparing apples to oranges, we actually had a great chance here in MLBB to catch up with someone you may know and enjoy, Lemon.
was walking in the audience and I found the legend.
Hello.
It's Lemon. Lemon, how are you?
I'm great.
You're great. How's Paris so far?
So hot.
It is kind of hot. You miss the cold.
Yeah, but the food is fire though.
You love the food.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And I know you've been following the group stages and of course coming into the knockouts. Lemon, is there a team that really surprised you this MSC?
For me, it's Team Liquid.
Team Liquid.
Yeah. It's such a surprise for me because they get knocked out so early, right? Because I hope them meet Indonesian team in the final.
Yeah. I think a lot of people were also quite surprised. But were you surprised by any teams in a good way?
In a good way, Onyx qualified to the knockout.
Okay, so he didn't expect Onyx to qualify.
No, it's not. I mean, I do hope them, but I think it's such a surprise because they went to the rough path.
Yeah, that's true. It looked like they were struggling. I think even a lot of the people out there were quite surprised, but they're here right now and taking a look at the Indo team so far. What do you think has been lacking about them? Do you think that there's something that they could improve?
I don't have a lot to say actually because they did so well in the group stage, right? Maybe in the during drafting phase they need to get through it, like really think what the comfortable hero for them and maybe don't make any unnecessary movement in game.
Okay, so drafting and unnecessary movement. I feel like I know which player you're talking about right now. But if we're talking about any heroes, you know, like the meta has been so interesting so far. Cool heroes have been popping up. Is there an underrated hero that you want to see here at the MSC?
I really want to see Xavier.
Xavier.
Yeah.
Oh, you think Xavier could be played?
I really love to play Xavier. I mean, he has like good poke, good CC with his second skill. With a good comms, with a good pair with a strong roamer like Cho, maybe Xavier can counter a lot of this hero meta, you know? This hero a lot of dashes. Like.
Okay. Maybe Xavier comes through. I hope Xavier comes through. You know, honestly, I thought you were going to say Kagura.
Kagura is so bad.
Oh, Kagura's bad. But, Lemon, do you have a message to Vitality that's currently playing right now?
For BTR Vitality, I hope you guys can beat Falcon like in the group stage, and just do your best. Good luck, and don't forget to have fun.
Thank you so much, Lemon. It's an honor to be here with you. Enjoy the games because we are now going to throw it over back to you guys.
Big shout out to ObSpot as well. I know they sent me a camera last year, and I got a lot of cameras, but that one was quite good. So they're our official sponsor. Welcoming you back
flex.
here to the Lenovo Legion Gauntlet. Oh, you guys didn't get one? Oh man, sucks. Too bad, bro.
Hey, just
step up your content game, man.
Hey, give me like 1.5 months. I'll figure something out.
Are you kidding? No, you guys are excellent. One of the things, not easy to be a content creator and a caster. I got to give a shout out to all the MLBB crew. Not only are they teaching me all these things, they're making vlogs, they're posting, they're building up their socials. It's a beautiful thing. I love it. Not every esport does that, so you guys are awesome. Let's jump back into game 3. It's 1-1. How we feeling? Super Marco there.
I want to know how
staring
Super
down.
Marco's feeling.
I know.
Locked in.
I mean, like, it must feel bad when you pick up the Clint and you're going up against a Paquito. That just feels bad for any marksman in that matchup. So I feel like that just adds another layer to it. Because I really feel what Team Falcons wanted to do with the Harif ban, as well as I believe the Claude ban, was to actually force the Paquito to go into the gold lane, and then hoping they go to the late game, and then by that time, Super Marco with the Clint will just pop off. But I feel like now they got to respect that, right? Understand that you might go up against Iman with a fighter. Doesn't have to be the Paquito, could be something else like a Ruby or something, and that's just something that they have to deal with. Because I really feel like in Game 1 and Game 2, it's less about the draft and really more about the execution. Maybe Game 2, if they have another hero like a Barats, like a Belleric that can counter the Barats, maybe that'll be a little bit better.
I think they definitely could have picked up the Belleric in Phase 1.
That's Just No Limit, by the way. Shout outs to him.
Right on. Just No Limit. Who's he voting for?
Who's he what?
Vitality, right?
Oh, 100%. 100% Vitality.
Are you trying to do an American accent right there, boy?
Hey, I'm quarter American, man. What?
Is that how we sound?
Yes.
How do we sound to you?
Dude, let me just say, there's a bunch of time I go to breakfast, and it really screws in my brain, because I just hear a bunch of nicers talking. He's the most traditional white guy that even, like the real white guys come out. It's like, oh, you guys sound like nice.
Yeah, you sound like nice. He's the
You guys sound less American.
Right on.
The gold standard, huh? A different gold standard.
He's the white standard.
The white standard. Oh, no. Oh, fell. Trex is laughing.
Hey, white power,
Hey.
So now going into draft
Vitality
here.
versus Falcons.
Yeah, it looks like they're not changing up the drafts. And I guess you don't have to. Right after this, ban out the Fanny and then ban out the Atlas, and then said, oh, no, this time they ban out the Selena.
And so wait, Falcons takes red side.
Yep.
And
they chose
Vitality
that.
still decides to switch up the draft, which I find interesting. Falcons won last game. They switch up the ban. They ban out the Valentina this time. Vitality wins last game, and they're going to switch up their bans. Instead of trying to run the same exact thing, each team consistently knowing the next game has to be different.
I mean, here's the thing. That Selena really ruins their early game, because if you guys remember in game number 2, Iman on that Paquito tried to help with the Little Wanderer, and then they got it, but then Iman died. So I feel like they're looking at it as, you know what, Selena's doing too much. Even when they're losing, she's doing too much.
And I'm trying to see where this translates into something opening up. I mean, it could be the Belleric opening up earlier for the side of Team Falcons.
Or the Atlas.
It could be the Atlas as well, because they're giving something up. They've been taking away both of those.
The Fanny as well as the Atlas. So now they banned the Atlas. I don't know whether they themselves want the Fanny or they don't want to give the Fanny over to Falcons.
I think if the Harara's open, then they know that at least they can still take their Barats. The Selena's no longer there, and they have some tradability in the long haul of things. Vitality is the one that's here on the gun, having to make a big decision. Last game, they banned out the Valentina. This time, they have to think about it.
Does the Esmeralda indicate that they want to go back to Shogun having a good lane?
Oh, yeah.
XB with Barats?
100%. This is a draft where you know that Shogun brought the coach out to dinner, and the coach really liked that dinner. It's like, you know what? You're always going to be first pick.
Yeah, he paid for dinner.
They banned out the Melissa. Now, that's interesting. They're opening up quite a lot here, right? The Valentina's there, Hirara, the Lings, the Fannies. Zushin as well. I don't know about this one. I feel like Barats first pick is still fine.
Yeah, honestly, I think they still go Barats.
It's like when you know you're visiting for a night, you don't need to worry about being comfortable. You can wear anything. You only have one night you're driving home. When you're staying for a week, now you got to bring your pajamas, got to feel comfortable. I think in these longer sets, you see players revert back to what has worked for me, what is comfortable. We've got 2 games on it. Let's figure out a third. Not changing something's a big deal.
So you just go to Jushin, Belleric here, I think.
Yeah, that's a great play.
Belly Boy and Jushin.
Sounds good. And then later on, you'll see whether out of all the assassins that's still open, which one do you want? You want the Harara, the Ling, or the Fanny? Because I feel like, judging by game 2, I think Falcons should be really hesitant to pick up that Fanny because there's so much fighters. And
Falcons doesn't want the Fanny, then they might have to lock in the Harara here, right? That
true.
Might be just Harara, Belleric.
I would go with that. That sounds very solid.
They still have the Ling as an option. If they we haven't seen it, but that could mean that if they're risking never mind, they want the Fanny.
They're risking it this one.
They want it.
I mean, it's because they don't want Vitality to have it.
I think so too, because Nile is pretty disgusting on that Fanny. So now they have two ways to deal with this. Either go Moskov in the gold or go for that Paquito again, just so that you know that Fanny does not have a good target to
Why not
actually
both?
Slice in.
Paquito and Moskov right now.
So Paquito, jungle, Moskov, gold. I mean, like, I'm not against it. It's just very, very honest.
Yeah, and you show a lot in these first three. Bans come up after that.
They could go Zushin. Sorry.
No, I'm with you. I think Zushin could be good too. I think either team going Zushin is nice.
And the Moskov.
Or Paquito, depends on which route you want to go for, right? Because I feel like if you don't secure either or, 100% they're going to get banned. So they pick up the Paquito as well as the Eudora. So that's why picking out the Fanny can be a risk. Basically, all three can counter the Fanny here.
So that's interesting.
Was it a big brain bait?
I think
by switching into the Selena, leaving the Fanny open, taking the Barats again first. Do we think this was just like they're going to go Fanny to steal it from us, and then we instant counter it?
Honestly, I feel like it was a gamble. They're like, guys, there's a chance they will pick it up. If they don't, then we got to figure something else out. But the moment they pick up the Fanny, they're like, all right, we got him.
Well, listen, if this is Paquito Gold, if it is going to mix over, then he has an opportunity to pick his matchup that he wants. And Harith is still open, which we haven't seen open for him yet, and he's enjoyed. They're going to wait till that because they're not sure, again, that is Paquito Gold.
So I feel like for Vitality, to make it easier for themselves, I think they need to ban out something like the Ruby, because I think right now Falcons, they're considering playing double fighters. That's why they're picking up the Lapu so that he's flexible. Worst comes to worst, you can put Lapu in gold. Not the best place for you to put him, but it's an option.
Yeah.
Ruby would be a nice answer to the Paquito and the Barats, those bulky frontliners, something that can just kind of stop them in their tracks and stop the big engage that Vitality wants to bring. Coming into the ban list, Falcon takes out the Harley.
I mean, you could do essentially, for those watching a new to MLBB, right, you have that traditional marksman normally in gold. You have the big fighter in EXP. We're seeing the experimentation there with some of these teams either putting a fighter in gold, sometimes flexing them into the jungle as well, but mostly either in gold and in EXP. So you have two different styles, but aggressive, CC, team fight focused characters. Is it possible that Falcons go and say, well, let's just match that? I mean, let's just do that ourselves.
Because right now, based on the bans here, Falcons banning out that Harley, I think they're opening up just in case they want to go for marksman. So I think the marksman is going to be red 5. They're going to see the entire draft, and then they're going to decide. And then for Vitality, they're banning out the Eve. If they ban out something like the Zushin, it basically shows that they want to gank mid for quite a few times. They just don't want these tanky mid laners to be there, lowering the chance of them actually getting a kill.
Yeah, they need to make sure, they got to make sure that Eudora also has a lot of freedom, and something with that much range, taking out the Eve. Selena's already gone. They've noticed that, I think, control in these fights is something that Falcon really thrives off, especially in game 1 when they had a similar draft, Xnay on the Fanny.
Yeah.
Ruby has to be banned though. They ban on the Lilia here. Very interesting. Okay. The Ling is still open. Not so sure if this is going to be a game that's going to be good for the Ling. I mean, again, because of this Paquito so flex, we've seen him in the jungle and the gold. It really can go either ways here. But I feel like they should pick up a mid so that they can make the last decision whether they want fighter gold or marksman gold.
That makes sense. Open up in mid. I mean, we've seen a lot of different choices. A lot of them banned out here.
Maybe even Valentina wouldn't be that bad. It's just that whatever ult you're going to take, except for the Eudora, you're kind of putting yourself in a very tough spot anyways.
Very dangerous.
Vexana's interesting.
Oh yeah, good.
We saw Aurora one game.
I mean, something that's an answer to something that Vitality has right now, honestly. Yeah. That's what a lot of teams have used it for, so it could definitely be a possibility.
Farsa. Okay.
There's a lot of bursts here coming in from Falcon, so whoever gets caught, the Farsa can burst out for the first 6 minutes. So I think Falcons, they just want to win the early here. But this draft kind of shows that they might have something like a Claude later on.
As their last pick?
Claude or Moskov, yeah.
Both been played. Claude at a 2-win, 1 loss for Falcons. Moskov 1 win, 0 losses. So both good choices for Super Marco in this tournament so far.
Because I feel like the Brody would be stylistic for what they have right now, but there's a chance they're going out against the Paquito in the gold lane. Brody won't have a good time. So I feel like but I'm worried if that's too much scaling, though. Too much scaling in this current meta is pretty bad. Actually, no, I don't think that there's too much scaling. So they pick up the Claude as well as the Kufra here, trying to fight against the Fanny. They're really just trying to counter Fanny here. Everyone except for the Claude.
Yeah, I mean, in the Kufra, don't get me wrong, it works against the Fanny, but it is still a high-risk roam. Yeah, there's a lot of roams that they could have gone for. Moskov also would have been great. I guess it's a little less escapability. The Claude can help against this Farza. Has the BMI, has a little bit more movement in terms of team fights, and can maybe get away from the Lapu a little bit better.
If you want to go double fighters, it's still the Ruby, but I feel like you don't have to. I feel like a Harif or a Moskov should be good here. They pick up the carry, so they just want to make sure that when the Baraks exposes himself, they have an answer. So quite balanced here, getting a lot of bursts coming in from the far side as well as Fanny, and then having that shred from the carry. I'm liking Falcons draft here because for Vitality, it kind of depends on both the Barats as well as the Kufra.
And the Jungle Paquito was something they lost in game number 1. Can they pull through this time in game number 3 and get a win off of it? Falcons taking it back with a few picks. The Farza, the Fanny. Excited to see how it goes.
Well, Team Vitality and Shogun been feeling pretty comfortable with that Barats on the stage the 3rd time around. Will he get kicked out? Need to find a new place to stay? We'll find out as we send it back over to Gideon and Brigida for Game 3.
Game 3 begins, and already we are anticipating who is going to bring it to the next level here. Who's going to take another point over the others? The score is 1-1 as we jump on in to the land of Dawn. And Brig, I don't know, these compositions, they're like Digimon. They just keep evolving. You don't know when it stops. You don't know when they have figured out what is the end goal.
Yeah, if there's one thing that evolved, we're no longer on all flickers. We at least see 2 Purifies on Team Falcon's side. And understandably so, you're seeing an overwhelming amount of crowd control over on Vitality, which I feel if they don't get to use in the proper sequence would be very punishing for their team fights in the latter portions of this game.
Yeah, really interesting. A quick look at the emblems, and immediately we're already seeing Pull Yourself Together from Haji on a Purify in comparison to a Wilderness Blessing coming in from Moreno. So Moreno wants to move around this map a lot quicker with Finn, thanks to that Concussive Blast, but the Brave Smite here, pretty important for Ogun to keep himself alive. As we see the first couple of interactions, it's just about control. It's about how much we can control this lane and minimize the rotations.
Yeah, Finn and Moreno are required to really work together, I feel, especially as because the nature of a Kufra, which I feel like is the reason why we don't really get to see him recently, is also because of the fact that once you go in, there's barely any way for you to disengage, and it's pretty much like you have to at least get a guaranteed stun or set for you to make sure that you get to maximize this hero to its fullest potential, because if not, it will be very easy for Falcons, considering their lineup too, to just go in for the punish. And that's a quick rotation you're seeing from Haji.
Potential engagement from Finn as well. I don't think they want to do this right now, right? Nobody's level 4 at the right time, and more importantly, as much as they want this EXP crap, which Shogun gets, no problem, but I don't see Falcons finding First Blood just yet. Not until we see Il Haji hit level. Oh my goodness, Moreno so close. Oh, he walks out just at the very edge. Gets caught.
Yeah, I probably thought there was a bit more grass. But okay. Oh, it's not even the Tyrant's Revenge that catches him first. It's just gonna be a Detona's Welcome from Shogun.
Ah, Shogun's really good with the Detona's Welcome. It's actually kind of crazy, but here comes Haji.
Okay, Finn, he's gonna show himself. They have enough idea of where Vitality are currently positioned. Kyle's still gonna go window. There is no Ball of Lightning anymore from Moreno to land the stun, but Finn is still gonna be there. They're trying to focus on Haji this time, and Nile will just really secure the objective. Hold on. Flap goes in. They still want to fight, but Vitality don't.
I'm surprised that they didn't even want to like let the Feathered Airstrike rip or like try to force out. They knew that, okay, Shogun should be okay here, I would assume. He's max stacked out. There's no chance that Kyle's going to be able to cut him down just yet. Not without a little bit of help here. But on the opposite end, I was really expecting like Haji to try and make something happen, force somebody to flicker, force them to flicker forward or anything. Because losing their battle spells on the side of Vitality is a lot more punishing compared to the Falcons.
Yeah, so the one's on all flicker, but they dealt with that first objective really, really well. I mean, that immediate transition from just taking out Flap, which I feel also shouldn't have been the case. But I guess it was just a bit too unexpected for Vitality to just jump on him at the same time too. So you don't really get to see Falcons at least in a position where they'll be confident enough to contest. The gold lane is definitely something that we don't really put into consideration as much now. Just because the focus is just really heavily towards the mid. It's because of these mid trios that we're seeing a lot of things happen or supposedly happen by far.
Yeah, and also the scary thing is that Super Marco also decided to take the Purify, right? So taking these like heavy trades against Iman, there's always that risk of at any point of time somebody could come for this gank. And he doesn't mind the 2v1 scenario because of that Purify, but as soon as he loses it, he suddenly becomes this vulnerable target that even Nile can take it out without much effort. So it's about maintaining control, right? And you can see that both sides, oh my goodness, another Detonator's Welcome set up for Shogun and Nile.
It's not a good start for Flap at least, and I don't think Vitality are paying too much attention towards Super Marco too. They acknowledge the fact that yes, this is a carry on Purify, but I think they're just really trying to double down on shutting down the EXP laner for Falcons, which I think would allow for so much more openings and entries here for Falcons, but considering that he hasn't been able to farm up, Falcons are just not confident enough to fight against Vitality, especially in these objectives, which Flap will still decide to show up for, but it's a 2-level gap you're looking at between him and Shogun.
Yeah, this should be a no contest unless they're able to get like a big fat all coming in from Ogwin. I mean, he's thinking about it, right? He sees all of the members there. This might be the angle to try.
Whoa, that was just a flicker set up onto Ogwen, and they immediately burst him down. The Detonator's Welcome! Catching Kyle, but he still gets to secure the retribution nonetheless. This is Falcons clapping back, a cutthroat 2, finding 3 in the process. Haji flying in towards Moreno, doesn't have the feathered airstrike, but Falcons are able to turn that around.
That's so sad. He was a pixel off the wall, but at least the Falcons will be able to try and convert this to something even more. They get mid-tier 1. Let's look at this replay one more time, because again, great engagement, right? But the Detonator's Welcome, as you see just here, he eats him mid-air, flickers backwards, and misses the wall! Puts him right on top of the turtle. He thought it was gonna connect. Honestly, really well played from both sides here, but big ups. And Ogwin knows, it's like, hell yeah, they messed up. And that's great, because now this is going to drag out a little bit further. And with a 1.5k lead, Haji is starting to come into a position where he can legitimately start threatening the members of Vitality. Moreno in particular. He might, if he can force Moreno to flicker early on, this mid-game might be where Falcons really shine.
Yeah, because Moreno, I think, has been very difficult to catch as well on the Eudora, but that pretty much put Falcons back in the game. That's already a lead over to their side. Oh, okay, Finn is gonna spot them here. Eman should already know that there's a potential gank.
Are they willing to trade top tier 1 for this? They're probably gonna send Kyle up to the top side, right? As soon as they show, the wave gets cleared up here. Yep, he makes his way over to the top side. They already know this. Shogun is communicated. Nile ready to punch.
Oh, that was a lot of damage from Nile. And that was just Nile.
I definitely think that could have been a kill angle there, but I think even now recognize there's not a lot of people here. I'm not 100% sure whether they moved away from that conceal afterwards, but more importantly, he's got to make sure that he gets the angle right. If he accidentally pushes Kyle too far in certain areas, Kyle, he's good with these cables. He can start zipping around. He's got to lock him down right against the wall.
Okay, at least they somewhat equalize things, and the farming is looking still pretty great, especially for Super Marco. But this is where we see how Vitality are able to bounce back. They're not able to, or they're not allowed to make any mistakes similar to what happened earlier. It's been a really good run for Shogun on the Barretts here, but that could have been the turning point if they don't find their way back in this game. Finn is looking for a really good setup here, but they have no idea where Flap is.
Oh, it's a bit of a dangerous gamble here. Not to mention that they've already got like a slow pushing side up top as well. That's going to start turning into the opposing favor. Oh no, the Detonator's Welcome did not connect. Now Falcons have an opportunity here.
Okay. Shogun really has reset here in this game. That's another Detonator's Welcome not connecting onto anyone. Falcons are fully aware of the fact that they no longer have that setup potential. But Kyle is nowhere near this objective as of now.
Can't afford to show himself. Iman spots it, but Kufra is nearby. Look at Finn. He's going for the... And he's anticipating it.
Oh, he's waiting for it.
It's
and
good.
He catches Kyle. Blazing duet from Eman, and the bouncing ball prevents him from actually getting to cable out of there. there.
Great call. Great call. Made sure to use everything to ensure that Iman was able to get this kill, and also the bouncing ball to keep him in place rather than letting him move around. The order of these skills matters so much, and now Vitality, they need to take advantage of the scenario.
Okay, that's the Daytona's welcome with a Cyclone Eye. Slight reposition with the damage from Nile. It's a bit too much. Haji using the feathered airstrike. Finn tries to tank the damage, but it's an outplay. Nile, it's a turnaround. Falcons actually take him down. And Super Marco is able to find one more.
Beautiful play coming in from Haji as well. Feathered airstrike, Purify as well to ensure that he makes it work. However, the cooldowns are down. And Flap, he's not going to be able to get his ult back up in time, I think. I think he's got about like 13 seconds until it comes back up, but there's just too many members dead on the side of Vitality. This is no contest, and Falcons take this lead back. Despite the game going for at least 9 minutes, it's surprising to see only one turret from the side of Vitality has been taken. Falcons are able to get 2 turrets of their own, but this is where we see a 3.5k lead turn into a 5 to 6k lead.
Vitality should be very particular with where they decide to choose the fight, or if they even want to proceed with the fight, if they find themselves in positions that aren't really as favorable for them. Because I believe earlier, especially with that Cyclone Eye, putting Shogun in a slightly deeper position towards Falcons area made it a bit more difficult for Vitality to actually follow through. And so with that, it was another clear punish from Falcons, and it's a huge win for them because gold lead, map control, everything's just now all over to their side with just that single play.
And that's exactly what they want for it. These are the big momentum shifts that you expect to see in a game of this high level. Oh my goodness, okay. Some big spells being thrown on, and Super Marco just lost his flicker, walking up too close and getting hit by that ball lightning on top of the superconductor, allowing it to go become a bit of an AoE in small areas. Moreno, he's looking for that big one shot, and I'm worried for it, right? If Super Marco makes a mistake and walks up too far, even though you do apply yourself with the Purify and take away the superconductor, if Moreno just 1-2s into the ult, I think there's a pretty high chance of you just exploding out of nowhere.
Yeah, at this point, I think it's just really Vitality forced to maybe find a different combo. It could be maybe Finn and Nile. There's a lot of damage you could expect, but Finn decides to go in instead, and together with Eman, they blast Super Marco. The perfect pickoff and start to this team fight, only if Nile makes it out alive, but he doesn't. Flap actually goes for the chase. 4-man Landshaker to land it towards Team Vitality, but the re-engage, they still want to fight! The Daytona's welcome! And it's Kyle, they catch a successful out of the wall this time, but he still finds the wall spam!
Holy cow, he nearly killed 2 people there. Haji, if he just had a little bit more damage, I think they would have been able to secure it, but oh my god, that should be the Trinity complete for Iman at this point of time. He was building up to it, didn't find it, and then eventually got it, but you gotta give it up for Shogun here. A great engagement coming in from Finn. They outplay it with the help of Iman, but right at this very moment where you're expecting the cleanup, you're expecting Haji to be able to hit that fat stun after the Landshaker. The charge, the instant Detona's welcome. What a reaction from Shogun.
And this time it landed, but with that very brief amount of time that Kyle got, it's so crazy to think that he was nearly able to outplay at least 2 members of Vitality, as you mentioned. You do want to put him close to the wall, but that's also something he wants. So at the same time, you maybe should position yourselves away from it. It maybe should only be Shogun near the wall if ever you do try to go for that exact same setup later on.
Hey, that's the truth of it all, right? Sometimes you just get overly eager and forget how big some of these abilities actually are, but Haji is now starting to become a legitimate problem, right? Iman, he's got to be careful. Every time he uses that BMI, which is why what he's doing every single time he drops it down, he walks up forward, hopes to get a reaction, and then takes the BMI away, begging for Falcons to say, hey, one of you have to make a move first.
Eman will get his flicker in 10 seconds, though. They will be ready to take on this fight. Same for Moreno.
Oh, Finn.
Kyle already flies in, though. Finn charging! Kyle secures the objective nonetheless, though, and Nile gets bursted down by Super Marco. Shogun looking like the next target. Daytona's welcome out. Finn trying to run away. Eman blazing, do it just to make it to safety, but he fails. Vitality are just scrambling to get back to their base. Falcons are dealing a bit too much damage.
It's a little too much to handle here. Big mistake coming in from Finn. Unfortunately, tries to go behind the pit to intercept, but ends up hitting nothing. He's still holding on to his ult, and so far, they need a defense. They're going to pull it first. Pull it down to the bottom side.
It's just Finn and Shogun, but they're just being torn down to pieces by Super Marco on the carry. Moreno gets jumped on by Flap. 3-man stun, but Falcons are in the base. They take this game 2-1.
Nothing too surprising in this game. We knew that this game would end with a big bang at the very least. Unfortunately, that came out of Vitality's side. A single misposition on the Lord ended up their entire backline was exposed. This is why I was thinking maybe Cho would have been a better option rather than the Kufra. It follows the same protocols and yet has that single target lockdown. But I think for the side of Vitality, they want to be able to fight on a dime. They want to be able to consistently get in. But Falcons, man, the trigger man, they're fast with it. They don't hesitate.
Yeah, because I don't think ult dependent is the term to use for the Kufra either. It's just you really have to be very accurate with your skill shots, the landings, the timings of either your Tyrant's Revenge or your Tyrant's Rage, because then you barely have ways to get out of it. And same goes for the Barats, I feel. Once you really charge in and using your Tizitone as welcome, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much what you get out of the Barats when it comes to setup. So when you fail, it's really punishing.
If this wasn't a mobile MOBA, like this composition from the side of Vitality is basically a first-person shooter. Only headshots are worth it. If you don't hit that headshot, they just come back all of a sudden. You see Haji here just laying down hellfire with the feathered airstrike, and it was only going to get worse from that point onwards. So really, it was about taking the lead, securing a good foundation, and then closing out the game within first or second Lord. That was going to be the main idea for either side. And you can see that, especially at high level, the accuracy and more importantly, how much gold was being able to be absorbed by everyone across the map. Just absolutely nuts stuff. But there you have it. 2-1 is the current score for the Falcons. Let's see if they can close this out as we throw it over to Rain Day.
Well, there's a lot of things to identify there, but one thing was for sure. Team Falcons PH excited and alive here at the Lenovo Legion Gauntlet at EWC 26. MSC has hit its most fan-filled match of the tournament so far. And we welcome you back to the panel to give us a deep breath after all the MLBB we have seen. My name's Rain Day, and I'm joined by Trex and LaFell. Guys, that was, just dominance, I think, on the side of Team Falcons, but a great response to the comfort pick of the Barats, how to handle that draft.
I think there was moments throughout that whole game that either team had some chances. Some mistakes were definitely made by the side of Vitality, but man, both teams just with insane plays. Haji, definitely the highlighted player for me throughout that game for Team Falcons.
LaFell, the implications of this are bigger. I know you got some stuff to break down. Before we go micro, I want to go macro. Team Falcons, that energy that we're hearing, it is a result of the fact that they still need a win to start their club championship title race again. And so this is literally the game that stands between them having a chance to do that in MLBB or having to wait until another game shows up.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like they can do it because right now, Vitality, they're making one bad macro decision, which is they're overthinking it because they honestly have enough counters towards the Fanny, but then it seems like they're trying to double down by putting more and more and more and more, but you really don't. Like, how many times have Shogun caught the Fanny mid-air? I feel like at that point, you don't need any other counter. You know that Shogun can do it. So I feel like for the next game, Vitality cannot overthink their draft. Sometimes the simple answer is the correct one.
Well,
I like it.
Go ahead, Trex.
No, I like it. I think it's definitely an idea, and I think one of the things, Finn, on this Kufra, it was maybe supposed to be an answer to the Farza, but I feel like they lost sight of that. And every time we saw these big dives, because you're right, Shogun had the Fanny. Fanny was handled. Kyle wasn't the major issue there. Towards the end of that game, they needed someone to jump on to Haji, and nobody ever really got there.
Didn't die.
And the problem is, there's a whole lot of heroes that can do it, right? It's not just the Kufra. The Cho could have done it. A Grok could have done it. Heck, even if you go Glue, even Glue can do it. And they don't, well, the carry has an answer towards the Glue, but meaning to say there's so many other roamers that can deal with the Farsa. Sure, I feel like the Farsa will still be okay, won't be that big of a problem. But still, this is something that you have to look back into and be like, Kyle is good, but you have the rest of the team you got to worry about.
Well, I mean, this one is not just a big game in terms of regions in MLBB. It's not just a big game in terms of the club championship, which has millions on the line, $70 million on the line here overall at EWC 26. But it's also big because in this specific matchup, getting to the semifinals earns you at least $150,000. Third place at least gets you $200,000, guys. So you're essentially doubling the amount of money you're making, and it's already a lot of money. LaFell, let's talk micro now. I want you to go into what you prepared for us on that telestrator. Trex is getting his arms ready. I know, Trex. But you get to work out while you're working.
I did shoulders today.
Yes.
Hey,
I'll
make it quick. Because here's the thing. The only real thing in this draft that you have to pay attention to is this both burst heroes as well as the carry being the shredder, because for Falcons, I would say the biggest win condition for Vitality is actually the Barats. So if you can deal with the Barats, then you're good. And they have the carry to answer for that one. And here's the thing, Trash, you even saw in that game how many times Vitality started fight. But then Falcons just win it because you have to capitalize on mistakes. What do you need to capitalize on someone else's mistakes? That's right, damage. You need a lot of damage. And because of that, this Farsa is going to be super huge because every single time you start a fight, hey, guess what? Your damage dealers are dying. There's nothing much that you can really do. We're going to be looking at, honestly, just 2 clips here. And this one, something that I do have to speak about is damage is pretty king here, Trex. Okay, now
why are you staring him down, man? You took the mic from
now
him.
Take the mic, my guy.
You know, it's like,
all right,
let the man do his thing.
Look at this. We're gonna look at how Shogun. All right, we're gonna see. Oh, okay, this is actually more difficult than I thought. All right, we're gonna look at Shogun here and how Shogun can actually deal with the Fanny just by himself. Look at this, and look at the Farsa as well. I didn't thought this job could be difficult, but you guys are proving it here. We're gonna be looking at the Farsa, and the Farsa has so much range slash damage that they can deal with Moreno as well as kind of Finn here. You can see how the Fanny gets caught by the Barats. But just one tiny mistake. One tiny mistake here is that
mistake.
Well, yeah, huge mistake where you can see the Barats missed the wall, making it so that, you know, basically the Fanny can still basically the Fanny can get the turtle as well as the kill. And then later on, Astaghfirullah Alazim. Hold on. Okay, you know what? That's it. That
was our sponsor break. Thank you so much, EWC, MSC 2026. Gidia, we're so happy for you. You know, at this point,
TLDR.
Has anyone thought about getting a mic stand?
The Farsa has so much damage, it denies damage dealers. Damage wins. Big damn.
Oh,
big damn.
Man.
Great words of Naisu.
That was funny. That was good stuff.
You guys are funny.
That's why you won all those talent awards, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You just
no
gotta,
matter what's thrown at you,
I know how to roll with the punches.
He's always ready.
I love that, man.
Yeah, there you go.
Speaking of rolling with punches, this is a big punch as well because everyone you feel a little bit more, the fans get going. You know, like now we got to deal with Falcons fans coming at us in game 4. And this is also a fan that could be, well, this could, what? This is a big one because this could mean that it's over. If Falcons can get this win, it's a best of 5.
Yeah.
So we either tie it up or we're finishing the day.
This is where the pressure is on, right?
Yeah.
Before it felt okay. Now it's, if Vitality does not win this, they are gone.
They
are out.
T-crush.
And it, not even that, they have to win 2 more. They got to win 2 in a row. And no one's been able to win 2 games in a row. So at this point, his first team to win 2 games in a row, either Falcon here or Vitality next, takes this all.
You're right. So the question to me, and I think for many of us, Shogun, where do we prioritize this? Because it's worked once, it hasn't worked twice, but it's been balancing on a knife's edge. What do you think?
I feel like Shogun has been solved. I feel like he's looking pretty good. It's just that you need to make sure other avenues of the draft is taken care of, because even looking back into the draft...
Oh, he's trying to go back to the...
no, it's okay. It's okay. It's just that they don't have the right... dude, I can't even access this anymore. I've been locked.
Over.
He's got to stop telestrating, guys. We have to stop him. If we give him 2 seconds, he's
if
gonna
the
tell us straight.
Kufra is changed
Okay.
to maybe even a Grok, I feel like they would have had a better chance. Because the enemy just had too much damage. Stop letting the enemy have a lot of damage. Isn't that like a good way to win the game?
That is.
Yeah.
LaFell's so smart, but
There's
I
the
got to
draft. That's all we
remind
had
you,
to ask for.
you can make a great point without a telestrator, LaFell. You're enough.
You are enough.
I'm Dubis Guganur.
Don't get copyright struck here. We want to keep this VOD up, guys.
Anyways, right now, what you're seeing here is the draft coming in from Vitality. Now has a lot of damage. Moreno also has a lot of damage. The only real problem is that Ogwen on this Belleric is able to exhort most of them, giving a lot of time for Haji to deal with Moreno and then Nile. And once they're out of the picture, and here's the thing, you don't have to die to be out of the picture. You just have to be close enough to dying, and then you're just not going to do much by that time. Even if Eman is full build, he's going to have difficulties because when he gets close, that carry is going to shred him anyways. So this is one of those drafts where Team Falcons, they have very little margin for errors anyways. Even if they make 1 or 2 mistakes, it really is no big deal. That's how good the draft was.
Well, you guys said you wanted to see Cho. Well, I know somewhere you could see Cho. Maybe if you check out that Street Fighter and MLBB crossover that's live in-game right now.
Thinks he can come in here and play my game. Let's go. He knows nothing. Let's go!
Tyler Wine, you're done.
Raw energy. Half and blow the house down.
Play is in our DNA. Whenever we let it out, it becomes our superpower. Now imagine an entire city being built to supercharge it. Kadir City, powered by Play.
Welcome back to the Esports World Cup here 2026. It's MSC, which is the big moment here internationally for MLBB before their M Series later on in the year. This means that for many players, it's the first time they've been out of their country. For many players, it's the first time they've competed internationally outside of their region. And when that light shines bright in these big moments where it's do or die, they're untested because that moment has been rare in a lot of different ways. These two teams may be some of the most experienced, however, that you can see, whether they're representing the Philippines or Indonesia. They come from histories and pedigrees of success. One of them is going to move on, and one of them is going to go home, ending maybe a potential club championship opportunity. One continuing to potentially go back to back to back or become a new champion.
I mean, like, here's the thing. This is already living up to the hype of the Crunchyroll story because a lot of people, based on what's going on during the group stage, in scrims, people are looking at Vitality to be the one to dominate this matchup. But just like Drex said during our pre-show, the thing about teams from the Philippines is that they adapt very fast. Give them 2 days off for them to just focus on the game, right? They can figure out a way to deal with all this nonsense. And looking at this, they have figured it out.
Yeah, what's insane about it is during groups, both Team Liquid and Falcons felt like they were scrambling so much in the draft. Felt like they just were trying to kind of figure it out very quickly. And at this point, Vitality seems to be the one always on the back foot through all of these drafts. Even the games that they won, they just felt kind of always reacting, always trying to find the answers, never really the ones making Falcons guess their decisions.
And right now, Falcons have one more ban here. In the previous game, they banned out the Melissa, making it so that the draft was super open, eventually picking out the Fanny, and really working out well for them. But interestingly enough, both Vitality as well as Falcons, they are very happy where they're at, right? Falcons does not want to leave this red side, and Vitality really does not want to leave this blue side. But now match point here. Falcons just need one more win. Vitality, whatever draft they're going to go for, this has to be their very best.
I like your point before that. I don't think we've ever seen 4 matches in a row where it has always been the same blue side, same red side. Vitality's comfortable with it. Even after the win of, even after the loss of Falcons, they still chose red. I think Vitality wants to run it back right now. So we're going to run it back. We're just not going to pick up the Kufa this time.
I feel like just
and I'm going to hit the wall.
Belleric +1, and then you're good, right?
Well, at this point, Shogun and Barats go hand in hand. It's like peanut butter and jelly.
Peanut butter
I do
and Barats.
love butter.
It's like Barats and Denna.
Yeah. It's like two peds in an aircon or something, right?
It's like Trex Lafell and Rain Day.
That's right.
There you go. We're perfect brothers.
Or like Belleric and Fanny. Oh, 3 American brothers, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like
Same
Belleric
family.
and Fanny, who are also a response on the side of that. We see the Herrera picked up as well for Nile, and the Eudora again. So they are running it back. They are saying this is exactly the same first 3 so far.
Except for the
Except
Herrera.
the or.
The Herrera.
The Herrera.
Last time it was the Paquito.
That's right.
The
It
Herrera
was the
got
Paquito.
banned in second
You're
phase,
absolutely
so
right. Thank you for
Vitality
that.
wants to bring it a little more aggressive, I would say. I like it. I'm not against it. The Herrera, we haven't seen much Herrera versus Fanny games.
And now,
That's
so
really
this
good.
is already a bit of a difference here, but they still got to be careful in case something like a Farsa does come in, because I feel like as long as they pick up a roamer that can help out this Herrera and actually stay in the front lines, I feel like they're in a very good spot, because that's one of the problems where you leave the Barats all alone in the front line, he's just gonna get crushed. Unless now you make the difference where you ban out the carry. If you ban out the carry and maybe even potentially ban out the Moskov, then I feel like this Barats will be safe. He won't be countered just as hard as he was in the previous game.
Well, knowing the opportunity of that Farsa getting banned out, they lock it in first phase. This means no Lapu for the side of Falcon. They are going to have the range. They are going to have the quick rotations, but Vitality will at least have a bit more time to adapt and think about how they want to answer this Farsa. Because Haji, yes, there's a lot of counters to a Farsa, and it's one of the reasons why it has gotten kind of pushed out of the meta. But a good mid laner, someone like Haji, will still find the positioning, will still find the timing of those feathered airstrikes. It can still always be a problem on this hero.
I mean, like, that's the good old question every pro player has. Like, oh, this hero, what's the weakness? Like, oh, you can get caught. And it's like, oh, so as long as I don't get caught, I'm good? Exactly, right? So he's just like, hey, as long as I'm so good that they can't catch me anyways, I have no weakness.
Now, is that a Lapu ban?
Yes, that's a Lapu ban.
Lapu ban.
So we're seeing that Lapu ban there, and it is also, interestingly enough, cards being shown for mid and for jungle. The way that this is different is Vitality had been showing the Paquito there, and they had been flexing in game 1, and then they didn't flex in game 2, and they've spread out this kind of idea of what are we going to do, and they waited till the end, but they were not getting the consistent best end of that last pick. So I think they've just gone with, here's what we're doing, and we're going to try to beat you traditionally here.
Rain Day, Trex, my fellow Americans here. I'm just worried that for now, Vitality, they don't have any real way to dive, right? I mean, like Shogun with the flicker sure can probably dive towards the Farsa, but they don't have something like a Claude or Lapu. They could have the Claude later on, but I'm honestly not entirely convinced that that would be an amazing pick. Because right now, it looks like the Farsa is going to be undisturbed.
Why not, though?
Why not? Which one?
Claude.
I just feel like going up against this Fanny and then potentially whatever pick he has later on is just that he goes in, he's going to die instantly. Because if you show the Claude and the marksman isn't picked up, you can pick up something like a Clint and basically do the same thing what he's been doing against the Melissa.
They won one time with the Claude. They're 1-0. So it's something they're comfortable with. But is it a bad matchup into the Fanny? Lafell raising some questions.
Falcons might pick up the Paquito here, honestly. Wouldn't be a horrible take. At that point, they might be overdoing it on the burst damage. They go for the Uranus instead, something a little more sustainable, something that can take those big Eudora ults to the face, something that can take the damage of the Herara to the face. Vitality now needing to pick. You mentioned Grok last game.
This game honestly wouldn't be bad.
Or Gatot could be another possible answer. You get the taunt onto the Fanny.
Because right now,
dive.
You don't need to support Shogun anymore. You just need to support Nile on this Herara, right? So just have someone that can be with the Herara and then either give a revitalize or just create enough peel so that it doesn't become a problem. Because right now, Falcons, they have the Uranus. Uranus can penetrate you, and that's going to be a problem that I don't see them solving just yet.
So the Cho's up, but is that too much single target ISO? Do you want to... I mean, is that not worth it because you have the
I feel like it's still worth it. I feel like it's still worth it. So they do pick up the Cho as well as the Moskov. So far, very clean drafting coming in from Vitality. Nothing too crazy, just MSC standard.
They got stuff off the board. Cho has been banned before. They got their Barats, Eudora, also, and Herara, characters that have been banned. Moskov, last pick. You can tell that Vitality feel confident about this one. But Team Falcons with a response. What do we do here? And we're looking for the Hanami. Oh, baby, baby, baby. CC immunity.
I mean, it showed up in MWI. It worked out. And in this game, I think they're banking on Super Marco not getting touched at all. And even if he does, it's just going to be the Cho. So this will be a good front to back for Falcons. And it's up to Vitality to break that.
A lot is on the line here. And Falcons definitely looking for a mid to late game spike. Maybe they get an early game advantage. Vitality, on the other hand, just needs to find those pickoffs like they did in the previous game they won.
Well, it's up to Team Falcons to close it out and move the Philippines into the semifinals of MSC. And it's up to Vitality to push us to one more game. We're going in for game 4 this time. It's Gideon and Brigitte.
Game 4 begins, and we already know this is match points for Team Falcons. They are one step away from actually getting more club championship points, but more importantly, deeper within the tournaments here in the MLBB category. Moreno, I'm surprised that he's got a sprint rig. I'm just as shocked as you are.
It was the first thing I had to point my finger at looking at our monitors here, Gideon, because what do you mean? It's the first time you're seeing a different battle spell from Vitality, and it's not a Purify.
Yeah, I mean, Moreno, I don't know whether this is going to be the play or not, but without a flicker, and you still has to pull yourself together as well. So does that mean, what is this opting for? Like, Kyle now has a direct target on Moreno's head as soon as that ball lightning comes out of him.
Yeah, well, there is such a huge job for Moreno to accomplish in this game, at least. You know he is going to be the main source of burst damage. There has to be a way for them to get those shields out for Super Marco, but First Blood immediately... What? They just found open over there.
Hey, you can't deny the amount of early game damage that this team has, especially at level 2, right? We've seen a lot of Herara players kind of set up with their mid duo to kind of look for a fight, freeze out the lane, even if it's in a neutral state, and then go for an early First Blood. Okay. Luckily, at least, you know, Owen, he didn't end up losing out on his flicker, and Finn, he manages to get out of there, doesn't lose his flicker as well.
I guess a lot of people are happy with what they're seeing right now. We're finally getting Nile on an assassin. And there is much more action happening across the map, because I feel like when they were on the Paquito the last 2 games, there's just so much pressure over to Eman, which I feel like now is a bit more alleviated considering the fact that their damage is a bit more spread out. There's also Moreno too on the sprint, who we're yet to see in action, but we're looking forward to that since Vitality at least have a better grasp of the early game this time alongside this Cho too.
Yeah, now Falcons were looking for a couple of conditions in the drafting phase. One, somebody that doesn't really quote-unquote disrupt this Farsa as often, and also making sure that you're protecting your gold lane in a winning matchup. And I think Super Marco on this Hanabi, as long as the wave's in the right position, you know, can get some free harassment. His first turtle should go over to Vitality's side, but you can see they're just trying to bait him into something, right? Come on, get into these fights before you're level 4 is the only time we can actually punish you.
Ooh, there was an SOD towards the purple. I thought that were actually gonna steal away, but okay, Kyle will still secure nonetheless. That was already Moreno trying to burst down Flap too. Not much in terms of team fights just yet happening across the map at least. Oh, Purify forced out for Flap though.
Yeah, Super Marco also losing his Aegis as well. There could be a potential gank angle for Finn if he wants to flicker on top of Super Marco. He's very vulnerable right now, and I think there needs to be some kind of communication. But they've missed their opportunity here. You can see that Finn alongside with Moreno trying to control this top side, keeping track of where Kyle is going to be.
Yeah, they can't afford to let Kyle find the pickoffs that will set the pace once again for Team Falcons. Not now that they've finally gotten it for themselves. Shogun's been somewhat taking care of the XP lane surprisingly well though, even despite the matchup considering to be a Barrett's Uranus.
That's why we're seeing a lot of these motions from Vitality going towards the top side of the map. They don't want Flap to have that moment. Oh, the kick!
Oh, Rather Dryad connected perfectly. Kyle with a thumb throw, but it's Moreno who finds him first. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade so far. Jungle for Rome.
That's really interesting. I thought that Haji would just instantly spam the feather. Wait, hold on!
They find Haji. Fortunately, had the Purify to get out of there. But still, that was a... Yeah, you were saying it was a roam for jungle, and...
I would have imagined that Haji would have gotten at least Finn's flicker or something, but I think he's purposefully delaying the shots from the feathered airstrike just to make sure he gets maximum value out of it. Like, so what if Finn survives, right? If he doesn't have flicker, he's just as good as useless. That means this next feathered airstrike is going to be less contested for the upcoming fights, and now, with the next turtle in 5 more seconds, plenty of battle spells on their hands. Shogun doesn't have his Detna's welcome just yet, but they're going to fight as soon as it's online.
Which is great. That just shows how Vitality are now very calculated in terms of their usage of skills and resources. That's a Sky Piercer pickup already for Nile, so things should be a lot more better for Vitality if they find and hand over the kills to him this time. But Ogwen still has the Wrath of Dryad. Flap zoning out to Kyle. Really the objective, but the Way of the Dragon is going to land onto Haji. That's a Piercer stack for Nile.
Wow, Vitality say you get to have the turtle for free. We're not going to contest it, of course, but we want to go for Haji knowing that his battle spell is down, and now they catch Ogwen.
Ogwen again as the Belleric, the stun. It's a 2-man stun. Now connects to Flap as well. Kyle goes flying in. He finds them and cuts thrown on to Moreno too. Those are 2 crucial members that Falcons get, however.
Yeah, and the fans are going back and forth. Nobody is happy with the trades, but Falcon win out big time on the trades because we also get Super Marco breaking this tier 1 at the same time. The SOD connects, all the Guambo combos are there, and even Iman getting into this fight ended up getting him killed. This is the worst possible scenario when you want your insurance to grow. It's really sad if you got to pull it out early.
And all the while, Super Marco has just been farming. He's just been pushing the waves. He's been staying here down bottom, but it's not like there's much attention put towards the bottom lane by Vitality either, because we were already talking about how their rotations were mainly focused towards the XP lane. At least Shogun is having a better time, but we're slowly transitioning to the part of the game where Super Marco might be a lot bigger of a problem than you think of him to be.
Oh yeah, he's already quite a big problem. Dom Ice finally completed by Finn to try and reduce the healing overall from the side of Falcons, but man, until Super Marco gets his 3 items, he's still just going to be only a decent amount of damage only in team fights, right? In the 1v1s, unless you've got a target to bounce through his auto attacks, you're really not getting the full effect of the Hanabi.
Okay. It's at least the Sky Pierce again for Moreno, still having those stacks. Dominus Ice already picked up for Finn as well. Vitality looking good so far, at least in the beginning and the start of this game. But Falcons, the way that they've been able to find these angles, I think it's starting to become really tricky for Vitality, especially with Eman choosing to join the fights but not really getting the maximum advantage out of it just yet.
And look at this spread here. They fight into this Tribe Rush, right? Where's the kick? Nope, they're not going to do it just yet. They're holding it. They're really tunnel visioning on that one priority target. This is allowing people like Super Marco to show up. He's not supposed to be a split pusher. In these cases, he's supposed to be a team fighter, and yet here he is.
Yeah, I think Eman and Super Marco at this point have just swapped roles.
Run!
Ooh, Super Marco running away. AG's already used. The burst from Nile is going to be enough though, but can they find the trade on Nile? The answer is no. Eman going in. Ogwen and Shogun not landing the Daytona's welcome, so Haji still gets to pick off Eman. man.
That was such a weird sequence of events. Haji, again, a little bit slow on the reaction time here. He was waiting for the invulnerability, but I think he was anticipating it for too long. He should have just let it rip to force Niall to use the abilities. It's 3 shots to 2 abilities, and you can keep track of how many times he has that invulnerability if you see the little swords underneath the health bar. It's tough to keep up with. I know a lot of people have been struggling with this new hero.
I am one.
I struggle too. Sometimes I forget using Hirara that I have combo abilities.
Mechanically and understanding, anticipating all these combos and the abilities that can come out of this hero. But Falcons, at least for now, again, they're able to somewhat be not as pressured. They're not forced, or they're not reacting to what Vitality want to get out of them, especially when it's in terms of forcing out really important utilities. And even now you see the pressure is just constantly towards the bottom side of the map. Kyle flying in, tries to find Moreno.
Wow!
That's a sprint used right there. Is that how it's supposed to be?
Yeah, hey, he survived, right? If sprint makes me live with 1 HP,
okay.
I'll take it any day. But I don't think he's going to get away with this for very long. And honestly, getting pretty lucky there with Finn able to... Oh, hold on.
Okay, Finn, no, he can't. He can't. Moreno was also just zoned out by the fettered airstrike alone.
I've never seen so many people just anticipating this Predator strike come out from Haji. Everyone's just looking at the tablet, just hoping maybe they do something now. And I think that's the big issue, right? Whoever makes that first move is going to get punished. And if Finn doesn't catch that feather airstrike at the right time, he's got a lot more that he has to do. He's got to figure out a way to kick Kyle in the middle of the fight.
Yeah, it's just tough. Like, Vitality, at this point, you really want to see them get to coordinate and layer down their skills well enough. But who should be the heroes to do that first? Who could you expect to primarily be the ones trying to set up and really layer down their skills together? Because at this point, Finn, Eman probably not. Moreno, there is a bit of a lack of damage if they really want to go for the front lines too. I mean, just now they also use the Thunder's Wrath, but it's not enough to really take down Flap on the Uranus.
Yep, it's really just a stat check, right? And Flap, he doesn't mind. This is why it's so annoying to deal with. Oh, hold on.
Okay, now they're going to try and burst him down. Flap still has the Purify, though. He's not using it at all.
Doesn't need to.
They're not reacting to what's happening, to what Vitality's doing against them. Okay, now we see Eman joining in. Super Marco 2 nearby and within range, but the Wrath of Dryad is just going to allow Falcons to flawlessly take this objective for themselves. Super Marco with the free hits, Kyle with the cutthroat, already on a killing spree, and Shogun falls down next. 3 members out for Vitality.
Beautifully played by the Falcons. They understood neutral control is so easy for them when Owen just has to stand and press 1 button. That's literally, he just stood there like a tree. It's like, nah, you ain't walking out of here. The Wrath of Dryads is just a little too good. Unfortunately, it was on Vitality to force a play out to get the timing right. And as much as Niall can try to use his iframes, closing the distance is half the problem. And Ogwyn has way too wide of an AoE to completely ignore. So let's look at this replay one more time, right? Just keep your eyes on Ogwyn. He purposely takes 1 step over the neutral line to drop it down, to give them no opportunity. Even Shogun with the anti-CC wasn't able to catch Kyle mid-cable.
It's just so perfect. He barely had to go in for a surprise Wrath of Dryad. It was just really a perfectly timed Wrath of Dryad alone. There wasn't no flicker sacrifice. They also weren't poked down low enough because I don't think Vitality could really afford to. They barely have heroes who could poke. You try to close in, and that's about it. You pretty much expose yourself to Falcons already, and now they're knocking on the base turrets. Fortunately, Vitality are able to deal with it for now, but they already got all their energy shields, their holy shields out, and they still have waves incoming. 2 conceals already dropped down. Ogwen still not using the Wrath of Dryad. Finn trying to look for an angle. Daytona's Welcome finally committed onto Flap, but again, he's still not using the Purify.
I'm telling you, he's gonna hold it until, Kingdom Come. By the time the Rapture comes, you'll be like, yes, Lord, I have the Purify. I've been holding it this whole time. Oh my goodness. He's not dead, and that's the important thing. He's 1-0-3, so really no use for it at this stage of the game.
Oh, no.
The biggest problem right now is who the heck can deal with the Super Marco?
Oh, that's a problem. That's the biggest problem. A Wrath of Dryad flicker combo under the turret of Vitality, enough to take down Niall. Falcons don't seem like they're doing much just to take what they want.
Well, you see what I mean? Literally, there's nothing they can do. As long as Super Marco has that Aegis, he's walking around as if he's got Purify. And Vitality recognize that. They can't suppress him. They can't lock him down to the point at that stage. They need Moreno to close the distance, but he has the sprint, so he can't.
Oh, Shogun. Oh, Shogun. Not even Shogun can handle this Hanabi anymore. Okay. Ogwen will fall, though. Lightning Truncheon pickup from Haji, and they will settle with just 2 base turrets taken down.
At this stage, Vitality, they just have to play to scale until we see Iman actually, I think that's his 4th item at this stage, so he should be in pretty good strength. Trinity already complete, I would assume, as well, if he's getting a Malefic done, but right now, the odds are not looking good, and somebody needs to clean that long lane.
Yes, someone has to deal with it, but Vitality, they're all here. They want to contest. Eman's the one trying to at least poke down the Lord for now. They're trying to hunt down Kyle, but Flap is onto Shogun! Oh, Nile falling does not look good for Vitality, and it's just Kyle flying in! He finds a double, can be a triple if they find Eman. Here's Spear of Misery to save him for just a bit, but it's just Eman, Gideon!
Yeah. Super Marco and Haji literally walked up and said, nah, it's good, it's cool, dude. It's like, what can you do? Like, Iman is going to try and walk up, can't do much, Feather Hand Strike.
He can't even do the defense of his life. Not against Team Falcons, not in this scenario. Team Falcons, after losing the first game, will now make it to the next stage here in the knockout stage.
Oh. An unfortunate loss for Team Vitality, but a major win for Falcons. What a game that was. The most eccentric members obviously happy with their performance, but you can tell some people were stressed, and Marco finally, a sigh of relief. Oh my God, I don't have to deal with E-Man any longer.